Well, actually, no. Let's just keep going. I forgot to hit stop recording. Fuck! I didn't record. Okay, just go. Just keep acting natural. Yeah, but like about that Final Fantasy 12 remake. I forgot to stop recording. The podcast is going to start off at this point. We were talking basically, guys, about a Final Fantasy 12 remake, HD. Yeah, I know we missed all of it. Long story short, they just need to make HD remakes of everything. Then, if they're going to do it, just milk. Don't half-ass milk something. Milk it to the extreme. I want them to take the milk into extreme.
Here was my take on it. Did Square? Not Square didn't do Legend of Dragoon. That wasn't them. That was Sony. That was Sony. Square had absolutely nothing to do with Legend of Dragoon.
You sure? Yeah, I believe you because I remember you talked about
Sony's in-house development. They had absolutely nothing to do with Legend of Dragoon.
It
would have been great to see a Legend of Dragoon 2, but that was not Square. That was Sony, 100%.
Oh, interesting.
So a good game that I really enjoyed was not very well reviewed, but in terms of the 12 HD remake, not excited for it. If it actually happens, I would rather see a 9 HD remake, or as you said, Final Fantasy 6, brought to life. Yeah, the combat in that game was really good. It was really interesting.
See,
that's the thing. Capcom is not remaking any of their old RPGs, though. It just seems to be who else is actually Square's the only one that's bringing like old.
It's because it's easy. Right? It's like literally like printing money. It's printing money for them.
That's so popular in their catalog.
It's like, just gonna sell.
As much as I feel for Grandia, like I don't think a Grandia 1 HD remake would make any money.
No.
For what is it? For who's that? Namco, right? Bandai Namco has
like
that?
I said, there's certain RPGs. Anything with Square games will be made will make a lot of money. Anything with Atlas is big enough now where they can start putting out Atlas things. They'll just sell from the name. Very few companies that do RPGs can actually do that. Best of the studio, BioWare. There's certain companies they put out RPG or they were to remake like Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. You know that would sell easily. It'd be no problem.
ESP Software.
Man, they remade Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic with current graphics.
They didn't remake. When did they do that?
I said if.
Oh.
If they did that, that would be multi-platinum. So people would buy it up.
BioWare did it. BioWare would have to do either BioWare or Obsidian would have to make the game. But I still think Knights of the Old Republic 1 was better than Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Atlas could have been bought by another company.
I agree, but I still like 2 a lot though.
Grandia is sex on the disc, and that comes from our 2% female demographic, which we appreciate makes beautiful as gorgeous. She said it herself.
Taking these niggas' power.
What are you talking about taking people's power? What game are you talking about? You're just rambling.
He's playing Kirby, bro. He's doing
There's a lot of people that can take powers. Rogue can take powers from the X-Men. Kirby can take powers.
I mean, if you were paying attention, not going off on something else, man, you would have heard me talk about Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Yeah, but you ramble all the time.
Yeah, but I still.
No, we don't mind. You usually have to block you out because you say some crazy stuff. Well, we older people supposed to ramble. We ain't got no minds. You young and fresh. You ain't supposed to ramble. You young and fresh.
Before KOTOR 2 remake, Tomba, I remember.
Tomba? Was it Tomba or Tomba?
I think it was Tomba. I remember that though.
That game was amazing. That was weird. All them evil ass pigs you had to defeat, delicious little strips of bacon, and it was like a Metroid kind of game because you had to always revisit places to unlock certain. Damn, how do we get from Final Fantasy 12 HD? Remakes.
It's about games that just.
You know what? You know what they need to do. Make a law so you can't do a remake of the game only once every 10 years. And when they do, just milk the living shit out of it. Just have I'm all for these remakes. Just milk it. You might as well. Just milk the living shit out of it. You might as well.
It was on Vita. Yeah, see, I always thought about that, man. They always bring the old stuff. So, see, this is what saddens me. Nobody picked up the Fear Effect series. PSP and Vita were basically mobile PlayStations. All the old stuff from PlayStation and PlayStation 2 went onto those systems, those little handheld consoles from Sony. And so, a game like, because I know they had Parasite Eve 3, I think it was on Vita. Might have been on Vita.
Wait, they made a 3 on Vita?
Yeah.
It really wasn't that great. It was pretty terrible. The good Parasite Eve was Parasite Eve 1, the international version. Well, to be fair, the PSP version actually was not bad. I was just being a dick. So it was pretty decent, but the second one was pretty terrible. That's when they tried to be more like our. That's when Resident Evil 2 was hot, and it was blowing up, and they decided to try to make it like Resident Evil 2 instead of just make it more. Exactly, making it more. It still had the leveling system in it. They should have just kept the same exact system they had before and expanded on it. But yeah, most def, dude. Like
games seem to tend to get away from their how they start off.
Yeah, look at Dragon Age and Dragon Age 2, then Dragon Age 3 at Mass Effect, same thing.
Oh, no, he said Star Ocean, so you mixing two games. That's Lunar Silver Star Story, man. That's not Star
Man, they
Ocean
remixed Lunar Silver Star Story so much. It came out on the Sega Saturn, and then they made this whole thing about it, and they made it come out on PlayStation. And then after it came out on PlayStation, then they did the second one. And I think they went back and did it again, and they had like a whole package of stuff.
There was Lunar 2, Eternal Blue. God, I wish I could play those games. Oh, but those were
You can.
So
you can
good,
download the
man.
ISO and load up the emulator.
Why is that not on Steam, man? If they're bringing games,
because not enough people care.
And
they
like
even showed the girl
Zero,
who was singing the theme song to Lunar Star Story, and she was talking about the game and stuff.
That game would be so good, bro.
That game came with the in-game map on the cloth. It had like your music CDs, the game CDs. It had a keychain. It had all this extra stuff. Like Atlas. I think that was done by Atlas too, wasn't it? No, it might be somebody
amazing,
else.
like anime cutscenes and what the game was. Oh man.
It was a very solid game, but like I said, it's just it's not popular with the new age nowadays. Those games won't come back. Final Fantasy is such a household name, and it's synonymous with like weeaboos. Not there's nothing wrong with weeaboos, but like the whole kind of just Final Fantasy is just a monster, so they can kind of do that, right? Because all the RPG guys argue about Final Fantasy, but
on Sega CD,
but for those, I don't think it's gonna work. It was on Sega CD first, or was it Saturn? No, okay, yeah, Sega CD.
I
maybe.
didn't have a Sega CD. I didn't.
Those things were $600. No one had his nips. No one in the hood had one, unless it was like his parents were a drug dealer. No one had that shit. Then they had the Sega 32X where you had to plug in your cartridges to the top, and then they had the Sega Nomad. They had a lot of weird ass shit. Sega Nomad took like 12 batteries, only lasted for 2 hours, but you could play your Sega games on handheld. Who decided to do that? That was just stupid. Sega Nomad.
It's too good. Okay, so let's get into the first, I guess, really official topic that I had. Before we get too deep into Lunar,
and we lose our minds. Yeah, we lose our minds.
I don't know what an Ouya is, right? Apparently, it was an Android console, or is an Android console.
Yes, an Android console.
But
that shit did.
So they recently got bought out by Razer. That's Razer.
Woo, Razer, yes, buying out everybody. Woo, like this Razer. See what I'm doing to Mike? Oh, I love you, Razer side with Mike. You all fantastic.
The buyout and this whole thing, like at first, so it was an ongoing thing, which I guess came to a resolution. But the way it started was basically, Ouya, they did something where they had promised money to some of these independent developers or whatever. So I'll read a little bit of the story. It says it originally broke on Vice, independently talked with a lot of developers, blah blah blah. News comes after Ouya Razer decided to outright purchase Ouya. Since Ouya had a promotion called Free the Games, and that name was mocked apparently because it required the games to be exclusive to Ouya for 6 months before they could be released on other platforms. It says the money part worked like this. Ouya would match your Kickstarter funds so long as you raised at least 50 grand. 50% of the money would be delivered when a working beta was ready, next 25% when the game was shipped, and the final 25% after the exclusivity period had ended, so basically after 6 months. So... it says, blah, blah, blah. They told me they were contacted by Ouya in June. Company told them things had changed. It says it wasn't clear what this meant, blah, blah, blah. So basically, Ouya told them the deal was off, which meant losing anything from $7,500 to $30,000 based on the developers I talked to. Not a lot for New Gears of War, but for these tiny developers, it's huge. So, long story short, with them getting bought out by Razer, it apparently there was some clause in the contract. It says the contract signed by developers didn't guarantee Ouya had to pay the money, but several developers had already integrated the promised funds into their budget. Hey, you shouldn't make plans with money you don't have in your hand. That's just bad business.
I mean, I agree with this comment, though. I can't believe people actually thought that Ouya wasn't going to be anything but a total failure.
Yeah, pretty much. Did you just eat something while you said it? He just said some very sophisticated shit, and then you hear him open up some food and just take a bite. Like, okay, it's just.
Man.
It's like I didn't. It's like no one realistically thought, basic on the narcissism of our society and based on the transgressions of the consuls, that the oil was going to go anywhere. Well, I mean, they kind of know
that with the deal. So here's a couple of as it progressed. It says Razer. Let's see, 341. Razer released a brief moment. Blah blah blah. It says free initiative game was put forth by original Ouya, and that program was not part of the acquisition by Razer. The main asset acquired by Razer was the Android store, while many of the original Ouya assets, such as the hardware and other programs, were not part of it. The new Ouya, which is what Razer's calling it, the publishing will be working with developers to continue publishing and distributing their games. The new Ouya will be reaching out to developers shortly, blah, blah, blah. Basically, long story short, Razer is going to pay these people.
Woo! Yeah, Razer.
I think, and this is another one of those situations, is it because of the shitstorm? It's good that you're going to give these guys, you know, their money and all of that stuff. But I mean, this is what it says. It says if a developer was
I think they're buying it because I guess they figure, well, I don't speak for Razer, but I can imagine why they would want to acquire something like this, because this can maybe link into stuff they want to plan on doing in the future, because who knows, I don't know, but the big thing is...
Are they going to give away free games?
They could. I mean, because think about it. It's already an established system. They already have how the Ouya is going to work. They developed everything. So really, if you just had somebody who knew how to market it and make the money off the product that's already established, it's kind of like it's in their ball court now, right? If they have somebody who knows how to use it the right way, it could be to their advantage. Because I mean,
I don't think
Razer just they start off with mouses, and then they did keyboards, and then they do headphones. Now they got the Razer Siren mic, which I'm using. They got like a lot of different things now. They're actually giving me a semi headset. They're getting into everything, and I guess that just makes sense, right?
I'm waiting until I can buy a Razer car.
Yeah, that would be something. The Razer, it has all the technology of Razer.
I don't know, why would anybody want to play an Android console? Like, who wants to play?
I think, Savius, there is a good potential for I think there's a possibility and a good potential for that kind of market if it's done correctly and it's not with exclusives and doing that kind of crazy stuff
on your console.
But I mean, some people might want to really play a device that lets you surf the internet, lets you browse a lot of different things. Maybe that's like $100 or less, a cheap, but real cheap and mobile. I know a lot of you guys. I know a lot of people think like, you know, oh well, just buy this, just think about it in other ways. Like, remember how the whole console situation? Think about the console situation in China. China just now got the lift for their consoles to be sold in China.
Saying too that's why Razer bought them.
You know, the big thing is, it's just. It's just that the rest of the you gotta think about this the rest of the way. What if we got our consoles and PCs, right? What if in other worlds where people can't afford that, I can get an Ouya and mobile gaming might be bigger over there. Like in China and Korea, there's more.
Yeah,
there's
big over there too.
Yeah, there's more bigger gaming. Like in Korea, China, it's about computers as compared to America. In America, we know it's not gonna work, but in other parts of the world, it might because it's a cheaper alternative.
Ouya, the Walmart brand cereal.
Yeah, like you ever see those games where you buy for $5 or $10 and they plug into your TV and you could play their old school games? Like I had a friend, he used to like playing that because it had Tetris and it had a version of like Breakaway that he liked, and he would sit there drunk some nights just playing that $5 or $10. Well, yeah, the Atari, you know those devices where they'll have like they have devices like in China where it's like 100 pre-installed games. Yeah. On an emulator, and you can plug it directly into your stuff, and it works.
Those
like,
were big. What year was that? Like 2010
yeah,
or some shit?
Yeah, that's like those are alternatives, and I know that's horrible, but the Ouya is like $100, and as long as it keeps a cheap gaming price, I could see it working. But if it goes too high of a price, I don't see what it is. And
yeah, like I said, it's the Walmart brand. It's the Walmart brand.
I don't think so.
They can have
pretty much
knockoff games. Which they already do got on an Android. They already make them knockoff Call of Duties and everything, so shit, why not?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, because, at least from that perspective.
Nintendo doesn't use the Android operating system for the NX.
They are. Just to spite you.
There was that rumor about that they were considering that.
They could. I don't know why they would do that,
I
but
hope
they
not.
could. I hope not either. That would make me a very sad black man. At least personally to myself. There's
Okay, so-
really no reason to do that. But I guess we'll have to wait and see what they're going to do with it, right?
Yeah. We'll just, I guess, I just thought it was interesting that they weren't going to pay people. Then Razor had to step in and pay, like, well, since we acquired you guys, I guess we acquired your debt as well, so we'll pay what you owe.
Hey, Razor
Pay
paying
what
out them debts.
Coming for that ass, Santa, you're going to pay what you owe.
Pretty much.
All right, so what's going on in StarCraft 2? What drama?
The debt.
The IC says, have you been paying any attention to the SC2 drama? What drama? What's happening? What's going on?
Who just said
Anybody
that?
know what
I
he's
didn't see
talking
that.
about?
Who?
The IC 100.
Two?
IC100? I don't see IC100.
what's-
Oh, there he is. No,
what
what's
drama
going
is
on?
that?
I heard something maybe happening with something with Destiny, a guy who is famous playing StarCraft. He's not like a professional
I
player
know.
like that. But like, then you got Nannywall, a guy who has seen high-level competitive play. So anybody who's going to side up, it might be interesting because you got one guy who's just funny and comical and provides entertainment in the StarCraft community, and one who actually competes at a high level. I don't even know what they're arguing about.
Did a roast stream.
Oh, that might backfire
so
to
it's-
Destiny,
so
though. It
it's just-
depends.
So
Destiny
it's
going
just
somebody.
It's two guys that are beefing. Like, we don't need to talk about
Well,
that.
the thing I like about Nannywall is because it's kind of like if like Bjergsen and let's say Sky, or let's say like Midnight Blue, right, were like going at it,
Light blue?
or what's his Night Blue or whatever his name is. I don't.
Nah, man, you had it better, bro. Midnight Blue. That's
Yeah,
what it is. That
so-
sound like when Prince was calling him the mask off a computer.
But you know how you got some people who are always going to side with Night Blue and be like, oh, he's funny, he's saying everything's correct by Bjergsen, he sucks, or blah, 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 blah. And then you got Bjergsen who's actually seen competitive play and he plays at a high level. Some people would be like, well, you need to shut the fuck up, because I think that's how it's going to go down. I don't know what's going on, but if you want to type it out, what is going on the IC and chat, we'll read about it. But, I mean, that's typical in the StarCraft community. That's really normal. I mean, it's just how it goes. But, Desro's a piece of shit, snake in grass. Yeah, Desro. Desro's a piece of shit, snake in the grass. I didn't know that Desro was a snake in the grass. Nannywall is a weapons-grade autism, and Tiger Lily, Destiny's ex-girlfriend, Nannywall's new girlfriend, is a huge bitch.
What the? What?
I feel like you don't have enough backstory. To talk
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, that just sounds really crazy. But you guys ever wonder why I got out of the StarCraft community? That's why. That's the same exact reason
Can we go
why.
back to the topic because I didn't understand any of that shit he just.
But anyways.
I understand, but I just feel like we don't have enough information to go on anything, and it's just I don't know. Maybe we'll look into it after the fact and see about it. We got some drama of our own over here local to Twitch, man. There's this one guy versus this one girl. I can't remember either one of their names. I thought it was hilarious. They're both currently benefiting from the little war they're having with each other, as they're both seeing an influx in their viewers. If you want to just go check out League of Legends, you can probably find out who I'm talking about. But anyway. Yeah, man. Tree of Savior, a game that we've been talking about for a long time.
Well, you.
I mean, whatever, man. Listen, I'm sort of sad though, because I didn't get the beta, but they had announced the English beta. So this is the reason I thought that this was noteworthy, is because obviously this simply says, hey, man, they're serious about bringing this game west. You know?
Yeah, I don't like how they did the beta, though. I don't like how they did the beta.
With, just randomly selecting.
That just
5,000.
was.
There were people who created multiple accounts.
That was
You
really
get the beta keys out already.
crazy.
If you only have one account, obviously your chances of getting.
If you really want it, you'll buy the beta key.
Nah, that's not
Then
that
you don't want
serious.
it that-
No.
The game will eventually,
Yeah.
it's close enough to where, because it's only a 7-day beta, so it's definitely not worth paying for. And it's a beta stage 1, so I mean they'll have another one. That's the way that they've done it. Like they're on the third closed beta in Korea, which is where we're starting at in terms of the client and the game being developed at.
Right.
We're getting this version, the version that the Koreans are playing on. We're getting that version of the game. So basically, it's just sort of some localization, and they've been getting. It's interesting because you can edit the chat files. So if you wanted to help translate and like have NPCs say whatever you want them to say, you can actually do that by simply editing the the files within the game folder or whatever itself. And that's what they've been doing. They've been having sort of the testers help them to localize for certain languages and whatnot, which is sort of interesting. I just really, really want to play this game. It's supposed to have something like 85 or 88 different classes, you know. It could even be seen as just like a very casual style looking game or whatever.
I don't know.
Like
with 85 classes, I think they're going to mess it up. They're going to casualize it down to 5 because people can't handle it. And then I heard there's certain classes that you only the first 100 people to unlock and can get access to, and then that might send a panic through people.
I don't. If it'd be permanent, that'd be weird if they were.
Hey, I would be cool with that, but like a lot of people just. I've seen some stuff like for me.
There were secret classes. Yeah.
Let the game be what it's gonna be, and let the developers make whatever they want, and just enjoy the game experience. But I already started to see people. No, I understand, but the thing that scares me is people are already doing that entitlement shit, and the game's not even out of beta yet.
Oh my god! Please don't get me started on entitlement, but
that's the only thing that scares me.
Founder packs. They're gonna have $50. They're gonna have 75, and they're gonna have probably have 100.
This is you thinking of something. No, you're thinking of arcades. You know what I mean? Like they don't. I don't expect like this guy from IMC. Like this is a guy. This is his company. This is one of the original creators of Ragnarok Online. Mm-hmm. And you know, we all know he left when he formed this company. They released a game called Granado Espada.
Granada Espada. That's how it says every time you log into the game. It's like Granada Espada.
And that game was kind of interesting because
that game was very enjoyable. Right? It was what you did is you controlled 3 characters. 3 individual characters, all with their own skill tree. You could dress them up and equip them, and you kind of just went through doing the quest, doing the dungeon, grinding these endless dungeons and going to certain areas, doing these little quests. It was a very enjoyable game. I just couldn't keep getting into it because there was too many other big AAA titles out, like World of Warcraft, and that was when Ragnarok was popping and all this other stuff. I just didn't have the time. But it was a very solid game. It was enjoyable. It was cool because you controlled 3 different characters. You had multiple setups, and it was like steampunk before steampunk got popular. It was doing it before, like it was like the Age of Victorian era where everybody was dressed really fancy.
Goggles were cool.
Yeah, pretty much. But he did a real good job on it. It had a good refinement. It may have not been the most popular game, but it had good polish, good refinement, good graphics, good coding. Everything played very flawlessly. It just didn't have that appeal of the grindiness of some people who don't like and stuff like that. Oh well, that's random. He got to open his own volume.
I want this game to be successful, man.
I don't think it's a question whether or not it's going to be successful. It's just how much of the Western culture is going to affect it.
If you look at it, it's obviously very Eastern, and Eastern stuff for the most part, unless it's like Square, and even Square I think sort of has trouble selling certain things. It's not a Final Fantasy game. Square Enix at this point is sort of, so that's why Dragon Quest stuff doesn't come over here too much. And what else do they have over there? There's Dragon Quest, and it's like Star Oceans.
Yeah, we're talking about Tree of Savior.
I think it would do well because like a lot of these anime nerds love that.
Well, yeah, that alone.
See, but we were the ones who were playing like Ragnarok Online and stuff. But you got to think about it. There were in the international one where there were players not only from like North America and Canada and stuff like that. We had European players. We had players from the Philippines, Brazil, and all of that stuff playing the same version of the game. Now, this one is not going to go that route. There, like many of these places will have their own version of the game. Like there'll be a Brazilian Tree of Savior. There'll be a Filipino Tree of Savior.
Because basically the one headquarters has the game, and what they do is they franchise it out to different areas. And then when they get updates, they have to pay for the updates, and that's how they do it. And it's like that. It's just like a franchise if you wanted to franchise McDonald's.
But
they're
yeah,
like legitimized private servers.
Well, if it's a good game, it'll do well because, like I'm saying, like a lot of these anime people.
I'm gonna tell you this though.
I think it's gonna do good regardless.
When this game comes to Steam, man, don't come to my stream asking, "Hey, Savius, when you gonna play some League?" I don't know, man. Tree of Savius is on the stream right now.
Like, I think the game is going to do well, but I'm just worried about people are going to
check it out.
complain and try to get them to change. Because the
game
biggest
is
thing with
gonna
RO,
save my life.
they started changing things to fit the different
Yeah.
audiences, and
But
then
I
that
hope that they're
overall ruined the
smart.
game experience. I don't want that to happen.
Just do what they want to do. I hope they keep it
That's
Korean.
what I feel about it. How most games, too many fucking entitled.
I just want to play a Korean game in America. That's it. I want to feel like I'm playing a Korean game, but I'm playing it in English. I don't want to feel like I'm playing a Korean game that was ported and changed to work well. What's going on, Serpent? To work
Because that's
well
what they did with
for
Phantasy Star, and then eventually Sega got tired and
And
says,
they
"We're
said
not
the
going to
PSO2 is
change.
Never coming up.
We're not going to
It
change
will
it for
never
the
get
Western
changed.
audience because, like, when we do all these changes, you guys don't stay long enough to actually make it worth a while. Where in these other countries, the game is successful. So that's why they said if you want to play, you can jump on the Australian server or some weird thing like that, which has an English patch, and you can play it that way. Otherwise, they said we're not bringing it to the Western culture like that. And I understand because eventually some companies just get tired of changing all the stuff and trying to market to the Western audience, and then it fades out. You know, like in Japan with Final Fantasy XI, they just a couple months back shut down the PS2 servers for Japan. Japan was like the last set of PS2 servers, which just shows you the different markets and how things are certain profitable, certain areas are not. And like grinding and anything that takes too much work, people, you know how people are. The one thing that the game got going forward, it has really nice visual art style. The only thing else comparable is RO. I feel like this is like the definitive actual successor of RO.
Yeah,
the
true.
anime appeal will appeal to a lot of the anime people. They'll be like, "Oh man, that's a cool looking."
Well, that's
you
what
know,
drew
and that's
us
what they're
to
going for.
RO, at least for me, when I think I saw RO, like an ad for RO on like GameSpot back in 2000 or 2001 or something like that. I was at my friend's house on his computer. I was like, "Oh man, what's this? This is cool." So I just downloaded the game on this, you know what I mean, and
Straight
got into it
addicted.
when it was in beta. And yeah, man, I was like, "Damn, I really," and I have been playing it ever since, man. Like that.
And you see how they toned that game.
Lore, but
if you look at the game now, Savis, and granted the game has been out for a long time, you're just like, what happened? And that even happened at the way towards the end.
well, it was a glorified chat room and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a week to get a level up, but you do have to work. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Random. In a game like that, it's actually enjoyable to play your character. You know, now the motherfucker's kind of crazy. And you know, you can sort of, now it's sort of pay to win, and then you got these crazy ass third classes, and shit is insane. But even still, man, and like there's something about just going on and getting like a hunter with like 99 decks, 99 agi, or if you have the third class, like 150 decks or 100 something agi and shit, and just you're shooting stupid fast, and you're just hearing that sound of your arrows just slapping into.
It was an
motherfucking
MMORPG where
enemy and
if
just
you
destroying
were
them
a
and shit.
person that was good at being self-sufficient, you not only could rise
other
to the
thing.
top, you could make a phenomenal amount of money, you could actually run stuff on. You didn't need a group of people to
fun.
get shit done. You could do it by yourself or in a group or a mix of the two. And if you just...
Me personally, I don't find killing 1.2 billion slimes.
But you played Diablo. It's the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much it is.
No, you don't. Even though you don't play it anymore.
But I
you're
will
like,
say this
see,
though, you could play in a
Diablo-
group or you could play solo, but if you did want to play solo and you were efficient at what you did, you could do just as good as groups or you could do well.
As long as the game has good content, I'll check it out.
It was good content, and I think the
played
PvP
Ragnarok like way
was
back in the day. I didn't
was
actually
really.
like
I think the
make any
PvP
games
was.
in it.
If you were gonna have a fantasy game, PvP should be paced like that. It should be quick and fast, and that's how your PvP should be. If you're gonna make a fantasy, so like that's why I don't like the PvP in games like Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft, because I feel like it's too slow.
Yeah, it's too slow.
That way,
Yeah, I agree.
you know.
But I mean, the one thing was when you got your class changed, people had to come help. Can you help me do my class change? Like it actually meant something. Like if you were,
at some point when it was still
when you had to level
If you
up.
were a merchant, you had to beg a motherfucker, because merchants, for whatever reason, right? Because here's the crazy thing about that game: you got to have 1,000 zenny to change job to a merchant. There's no way you're gonna have that much motherfucking money by the time you hit level 10. And like because on average you were level 12 and job level 10 as a novice. So if you wanted to become a merchant, you had to somehow come up with a way to get 1,000 gold so you can change your job. So if you just stood on your own, you would either have to get lucky with a drop, something that you can sell to somebody else for a large amount of zenny, or you would just have to grind until you got that up on your own, and you'd fuck around and be level 20.
And I mean, and that's pretty cool. And then like with the job quests, they had different things. There's two ways you can become a crusader. You can either get this item, which comes from this messed up monster you got to beat, or you could skip this much, or you can just do this.
Okay.
It just made it. Yeah, it just made it so that.
Make a merchant. As your first character.
Yeah, don't do that. The cool thing about it is that when somebody got to level 90, they worked hard for it, and it actually made a big difference. And being a higher level made a significant difference in that game at start.
That's how it was for old school Maple Story. When you hit level 200, it actually meant something. Like I remember playing Maple Story years ago when it was hard.
So terrible, dude. They should have kept that game 2D and side scrolling. Like, they did the same mistake that they did with RO2 and made them up with the 3D, and it looks stupid.
When I saw level 40, I thought he was God. I'm like, whoa.
That's what it was about, because you work hard for it. And then once you get to certain levels, you're at the top, you feel like you're royalty, and you're rolling around, and people are like, oh, you're so high level, can I touch your cloak? You may touch my cloak. And you let them touch the cloak, and they freak out and stuff. If RO used to have like the auras and stuff.
Cute hats. A lot of people hated when they added auras because that gave away your level.
Well,
before
the thing
auras were added in, no one knew you were 99.
That's
there was
true.
No way to know a person.
But I will say this though, is with they could deal you and force deal you, and they could see your level anyway.
That came in later too, and then you could just turn on no trade and nobody could deal you.
See why you.
But my big thing is though, I like the aura because not many people have an aura. When only certain people had the aura when that aura came out, it meant some shit. People look at you like, damn, you probably don't like that in because that's fashion.
I stayed 98 for like 2 years because I didn't want an aura. I didn't want people to know that I was that high.
Why does it matter though?
Because once it makes you a target in PvP. Because that's the first thing they kill is aura people, because you have an aura.
That, and also the fact that they know exactly how strong you are at that point. They're more akin to be surprised to take you on. It's like, oh well, I have no idea how strong this guy is. Then all of a sudden you cast the fucking Storm Gust. Not only do you cast it fast, it does a fuck ton of damage, and they're surprised by it.
So if you had like a bunch of level 70s,
the element of surprise, basically. I got
it.
As a wizard, you can be anywhere from level 60.
Sound like some anime type shit.
To 98.
Well,
if you don't have an aura, you can be anywhere from level 60 to 98, and they have no fucking idea what your level is.
Well, like I said, this what the whole thing is with that as well too is that, like in WoW, you'd have a bunch of people level 60, 70, and 80, right? And they're feeling like shit, and they would see they got the aura. Everybody would stop, get them, and it's just a bunch of just peasants just jumping on you because you're the high level.
Wipe them out.
Sometimes you could, but sometimes even at lower levels, some classes could still stun lock a wizard that's high level. So that's what I understand why save is. It makes you a target.
Okay. Now that you explain it, I understand.
Also dress like
how you doing, Miss Black?
Like, I didn't wear fancy gear or anything like that. Like the big thing in Ragnarok was hats. Like, we had hats before Team Fortress.
What was the helmet? The helmet of the Sun God or something?
That one was stupid fancy, but it didn't even do shit.
No, but people wore that just to let people know.
And glorious looking ass fucking expensive helmet. There were crowns, tiaras, your spiky bands. You had the bone hymns that you could make and shit like that. For PvP, before berets came out, people wore shit on their heads. It was literally called a poo hat, and it dropped from a bear.
And it gave you 10% less damage from the dim eye. It was well worth. Everybody was wearing their poo. People would go through, where's your poo hat at? And they would just put it on, keep it on.
I wore a pink hat. I wore a pink hat and a smile mask. They call that motherfucker the nude mask because you paid for it with like fluff, and you paid for it with shit you would randomly find in your pocket. Basically, that's how you made that fucking mask. But it made you look like a bum, like you couldn't afford anything else. So that's what the fuck. That's how I dressed my character. Because you had no way of knowing what my gear actually was, what items I actually had.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, that's one thing on RO. Like, you could never look in people's stuff. What game?
A Tree of Savior?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm like looking at videos as we talk. The game is just so fucking
And they
gorgeous.
polished it up a little bit. You know, obviously as it's been developing, man. So I really like the style. I do like. I know who was that. I can't like Rance. I can't remember his name. It was Jordan.
Jordan, yeah.
Yeah. I do wish, sort of like he said, that they would speed it up a little bit, because it does seem kind of slow at certain points in terms of the combat and the character movement and everything. But other than that, I mean, the game just it looks.
Nah, I want it to take an hour for me just to teleport and get my ass across half the way.
That's stupid.
We gotta go to Niflin. I gotta teleport here. I gotta teleport here. I gotta walk through this magical cave. Now I gotta walk through this strip of magical herbs. Now I gotta run through this.
Ooh, I can feel them on that shit, man. I want to get lost in that fucking game, dude. I want to put my headphones on.
You can take
put
that
the
route.
game
You can make it
music
long
in
for
my
yourself.
motherfucking
Don't make
ears.
it for everybody.
And just get immersed in the game.
I think
and
like, things like
all
that
of a sudden I look up and 12 hours has passed. That's how I used to play Ragnarok Online, dude. I would listen to the game music and I would zone the fuck out.
In the game, but that's just.
I remember basically at EverQuest Online or at EverQuest Online Adventures and the original EverQuest, I'd be sitting there and like my friends like, what have you been doing for the last 40 minutes? Oh, I had to get to this place. It takes 45 minutes to walk there? No, just about 15, but I died on the way, so I had to respawn, then I had to go back and get my body, then I died again, then I had to go get a necromancer to drag my body out from the... He's like, why would you play this? Because I'm like, it's cool. I miss those days, but I kind of agree with Random, you don't need to have stuff like that, but, it's nice to get lost in the world. Or you wander into a place where you don't need to go and you get your ass handed to you, like, well, I guess I'm not supposed to be here.
No,
because you learn, but you learn,
like
right?
Exploring and stuff, but I like don't make things not convenient to where the point.
I think
like,
you should
it feels
make
like
things
a
not
chore.
convenient. It's a fantasy
Don't
game. There
make
doesn't
me
need to be
have to
cars.
Nah,
It's magic, sure, but I
that's
mean,
dumb.
you should have to work for your
I
teleport.
think that if you want to wander around and you get your ass handed to you, that's fine. I think that if you go to a location for the first time and you have to walk 20 minutes to get there, that's fine as long as they make it so that you unlock it, then you teleport back. That's fine as well, too.
Right, I like the idea that Final Fantasy has that with the crystals.
But some people, they want like a mount at level 1 and... Like, even, what was that game? What was that game, Arcade? Arcade, you had a horse with, like, and then, like, 10 minutes of the game, I was like,
yeah,
okay.
you got a horse very early. The horse very early.
A horse in 10 minutes in. You had a
and then
travel skill.
Man, I got a horse stupid early, man. I literally played that game for one day, not even a whole day, and I had a mount.
There was so many people on that game.
I don't know.
I like how Guild Wars 2 have their how they have it set up. If it's something like that, yeah, I can get behind it. The game is pretty, it's gorgeous, and it's fun to explore in that game.
It is. That is a good looking game. That dumbass couple though in Arcade, man, just fucking asking me, "Oh, we just got married. Can you build us a house?" Fuck you, bitch. I wasn't invited to the wedding. I don't even know you, motherfuckers.
Nigga getting mad off for a quest that made no sense.
That shit still offends me, man. Because exactly, like, why they make that quest, man? They got these two stupid motherfuckers asking me to build them a goddamn house. They couldn't
that
invite
game.
Me to the goddamn house. I didn't get invited to the motherfucking
What was the last time you played that game, Random?
That's nothing, bruh.
Me?
Yeah.
I haven't played that game in a long time. I haven't revisited that game. Fuck that game.
How much you spent on it to get in the pre-order or the early access?
I only spent 25, and I had a friend that matched my other 25.
So you got your friend's money and your money. That makes it even worse. What was the high end? What was the top package? $150.
The top package, like I said, they had a glitch in the game. I don't know what's going on. I had the $50 pack. They had a $100 pack, and they had a $150 pack, and then the glitch was where I got all the perks of somebody that spent $150.
I bet they were
my
mad.
Friends, and they were pretty upset. They're like, "Whoa!" I'm like, "Yo, guys, don't report it." They're like, "Nah, nigga, we paid $150." I'm like, "Niggas, shut up and be happy that I got the same shit that you got." I'm like, "Nah, nigga, we gonna report."
And do you still play that game?
I mean, I got pretty high. I'm not gonna sit here and say the game was completely trash because I did have fun going around game.
How long did you play that game? How long?
I played it for a solid month, but the queue times made the game terrible.
Yeah, and the queue times, it was like 14-hour queue times, and everybody and their mama was trying to play that game.
But once I got on, dude,
I'm not waiting 14 hours for shit.
People had macros and setups in game to keep them in game. They would run like a horse against a wall so they don't get locked out.
What's up about that Tiny Toon Adventures movie, Debo, where they spent all that time trying to get to the theme park?
Well, Plucky, and then monorail, that was it, and then they said next year we're going to come back and do it.
Like, you can trade, you can get you a little ship and, like, be a pirate and see other people.
But you couldn't even do the sandbox stuff that you wanted to and buy certain things unless you pre-order. Everybody who pre-ordered was able to get to all the sandboxing and all the house buying, and they were to...
Even if you pre-ordered, you still kind of got screwed.
Did you have a house, Randall?
I hooked up with these white people, yes. They knew what was going on. I got with these white people. He was like, hey, join me and my Asian girlfriend, and it was like, yo, they got a house and everything. It's kind of sad because I ditched my friends and they still
I think you ditched the game and then you went and pre-ordered another MMORPG game for $70, and now what was that, Skyforge you pre-ordered for $70? Have they give you your money back yet?
No, not yet. That's soon. The thing is, I was working.
Still ain't got that money back, bro.
Nope.
I thought they ain't paying you.
Random, are you gonna keep pre-ordering games now? Are you gonna keep pre-ordering these? Are you gonna start investing in these Kickstarters? Have you learned your lesson yet?
I haven't pre-ordered.
That game is run by some Russian company that I've never heard of. They're Russian mobsters, and they're not giving your motherfucking money back.
I'm getting my money
Anybody
back.
who tries to get early access on Skyforge, man, hey, just kiss that money goodbye.
That game is an open beta now.
Whatever, man. You don't get them no money and expect it back, because that shit ain't happening. Gonna break your motherfucking knees.
I'm getting my money back, bruh. Watch.
I hope you do. I really hope you do get your money back. I'd like to see you get your money back, but just stop pre-ordering shit, especially investing in these Kickstarters for MMORPGs. You really
it wasn't a kick. Yeah,
it was. Yeah, it was. Because I remember when you came in, hey guys, have you checked out Debo? You need to check this game called. Okay, so hidden. Before you say this is another game.
Random.
And that's what he would tell me.
Did you build those people a house?
Yeah, I built their house, nigga. If I got to level 40,
fuck those people, man.
You had to build a house to go on, shit.
But Tree of Savior looks like a great game. I don't like how they handle the beta. I don't like. Hopefully I'm pretty sure they'll deal with bots and other stuff. I don't like how they did the beta. That was pretty stupid, and how people bought it to get the beta shit. But outside of all,
scores, nigga, it's all good. I don't give a fuck.
Shoot, man, I used to make a lot of money off
my money off
selling the stuff that when they would ban a bunch of bots that were doing some things, I would make so much money. Because no one wanted to hunt it, so that's why I don't mind when they ban them, because then I can sell the products that people, because bots made everything super cheap to the point where it wasn't profitable to farm basic items. That's why I didn't.
Have random MVPs every now. I remember.
Hey, that works.
Maya.
Well, that's why you a rich dude. You rich dude ain't fucking with that small end shit. The rich dude fucking with the MVPs. But anyways, I mean, the game's gonna be good. I think. I hope they don't change it too much for Western audiences, and I can't wait to play it myself.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Like the beta, it gets me excited at the fact that they're making good on their promise to bring it west. It's already been greenlit on Steam. They're already at the point where they're making the beta, and yeah, it's there. Let's just hope Lost Ark comes as well.
Lost Ark looks so fucking dope.
It does.
So dope.
So, here's the funny thing.
But you don't really like dungeon crawlers like that, though.
But Lost Ark is absolutely beautiful, man, and it's like, I don't think it's a dungeon crawler though. It's like, I played Diablo 2 and I enjoyed it. It's like an MMO as well.
Kind of like Marvel Heroes. They have open areas where you can go.
Marvel Heroes though, but this shit looks amazing. I want to play Lost Ark.
They have open instance areas, I think, where you can go and play with people and kill mobs and shit. Because I was watching a new video.
There's a 20-minute video that came out somewhere, man. That motherfucker looked incredible.
It's so hard. That video was so fucking hard. I still haven't found it.
I played the shit out of that too.
Alright.
But anyway,
next
Capcom took down the Street Fighter V beta,
which I find this hilarious.
We just talked about this last week when the beta went down almost immediately after coming up. So basically, it says Capcom blah 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 offline for extended maintenance. They said an update and postpone the beta until further notice. It says after 3 days of testing while we were making progress and collecting valuable data, felt the majority of players were not having a good experience, and the best course of action would be to take the servers offline for extended maintenance. Postponing our beta phase until we believe the experience is going to be positive for players. It says the beta went online on July 23rd, but was plagued with performance and connectivity issues. They took it offline previously to attempt to address them. That was the shit that they did last week or so. promising to extend it, but the problem persisted. So basically, they did the Batman, the Warner Brothers. Listen, man, we're just going to take this. We'll put it back up when it works. Sorry, guys. The funny thing is, the beta, you had to pay for it. I don't think that it was
How
just
much?
you had to pre-order the game.
Damn.
So now we have
But at least it's a
Capcom
beta.
that's hopping on this whole train. Plus, what was worse, random, they also plan on, allowing like 16 characters to start off with.
Yeah,
You look at and they're going to use that marketing model like how they do with
The Killer Instinct?
League
League of Legends. So you're going to have two
Oh,
currencies. One currency you can pay money and buy your characters for, and then another currency you earn called Fight Money, which you earn inside the game. One's Zenny, which is paid for, one's called Fight Money. And then all the additional characters were... See, at least with Street Fighter, when they would introduce, let's say, another 10 characters... They will resell the game. You can either upgrade your game and pay, $20 or whatever and get the next version, or you can just buy the whole game with the included characters for $40 at the GameStop. And then when they added on little adjustments and more characters, they'd add another 10 and you just pay another $10 or something like that because they're adding more shit to the game. So now what they're going to do is they're going to charge you for each individual character. So when a new character comes out, you either got to spend Zenny, which is purchased with using real money, or use your Fight Money to buy these characters.
That is fucking terrible.
It's getting worse, isn't it?
They stole Zenny from Dragon Ball Z and Ragnarok Online.
And it's
I think,
just,
I think Zenny's actually a real currency somewhere. I don't know.
yeah, it could be, but it shows you how.
Zenny was a Dragon Ball Z.
No,
currency.
M-U-N-N-Y.
Isn't
It
that curry in
is.
Japan or something? Or that
No,
yen or something. I
that's
forget.
right.
I don't know. I know Zenny was a thing in Dragon Ball Z though.
Yeah, it's been a thing in a few games. Yeah.
But I mean, it's just an example of how they're just so quick to try to market that kind of stuff and get money that kind of way, and it's pretty terrible because it's like just in general, it just we were kind of concerned about this before this actually even got to it. And what is that? And I remember you were also talking about it, Savius, how like most people who were streaming on Twitch had stuff in the title saying, "Thank God this works." Oh my gosh, it actually is running, and that kind of stuff.
Damn.
And that's the funny kind of thing.
They were shocked, and it's funny because everybody's like, "Well, it's beta, but it's beta that they paid for. Stop selling it then." And I said, well, it's not really selling. It's a pre-order. They promised. Pre-order, basically, you got to pay the full price, right? So basically, it's like, yeah, man, give us your money.
Pre-order, no, you can pay $5.
Really? That's all it takes?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
But see, then with Legacy of the Void, though, for like pre-order now, pre-order with some games, it's like full $40 for pre-ordering.
Yeah,
if you do it at
I don't know
GameStop,
if they changed it.
now maybe if you did it on GameStop, maybe.
They take like that money, but you do shit online, they
But
take
you only
like the
have to
whole
put
price.
the lowest is $5 down.
But
You gotta think
then the
about
issue of refunding the money with GameStop, they take your money because they can always refund your money back, right? But if you go to an online store, how can they actually give you back $5? Like what happens were when I pre-ordered it, yeah, I got access to everything, but they charged me right before the pre-access went down the full $40 for the game. And then when the game went live on the 23rd, then I got the code to enter into my account. So when it's actually pre-ordering, you're paying the full price unless you're going through GameStop.
That reserve, isn't reserve and pre-order the same thing?
It used to be, but now it's so different. Now it's more greedy where they want you to pre-order the whole game. Because what people do is put $5 down, get their little gift reward, and maybe sell it online and cancel it. But now it's like you gotta fully pay for the whole game. They ain't no more like pay like $5 no more. At least I mean,
I question can they refund that shit?
Yeah,
there was, and we've been talking about people.
But it's too profitable for them.
Pre-ordering and all of that shit all the time. Like, I mean, it's funny that they're required that there's an article about it. I mean, it should be common sense.
Yeah. It's just they just need to stop with it, but I don't think this practice is going to stop unless the consumer stops. This is not a company problem, it's a consumer problem, because if consumer if they stop, then, video game pre-orders are out of control, yeah, Yeah.
Yeah, that's an old article and shit.
When they had that with the like when you were buying like what was that game, Watch Dogs, they had so many different pre-orders and stuff. They had to give you a chart so you knew exactly what you were getting if you were pre-order. It's been really bad.
Really? It was that bad?
You know, I mean, if people, I don't even know,
Pre-orders
man.
are something, and it's because the companies don't trust in the ability to sell their games. They want to see, well, what is the hype around this? What are we looking at on day one? Sales. What do we have promised already? You know, okay, well, 500,000 people or 1 million people have already pre-ordered the game. Okay, cool. We've already seen that article though.
It's just
like
it's very.
It's 8 ago. Like that article's so old. That's why we don't talk about it.
It was very
like 2 months
it's
ago.
very like just it's just really bad now, man, for the pre-ordering. And with pre-ordering, they actually used to give you really legitimately nice things when you pre-ordered. Like you used to be like, we gave you this keychain, this mug, this T-shirt, and they open up this limited edition sealed signed poster from the creators. You're like, oh man, $5 pre-order. And then you come back now,
it was always
and when you come back now, it's like when you pre-order something, they're like, what do you get now? You get the slip of paper that lets you download the game after you purchase the whole game. It's like, but you guys notice how like what you used to get for pre-ordering is way different now. You don't even get shit that's worthwhile. And the cool thing is, people who would pre-order,
you get early access. That doesn't work.
Exactly. When you would pre-order before, they would actually give you shit that was actually like, how did you get that outfit for your character? Oh, because I pre-order it. Can you get that anymore? Nope, you can only get it if you pre-order. And then stuff like that was cool.
They do still, some games do.
They do that, but then what they do is you can always come back and buy the DLC for $5, and then it's not really DLC or pre-ordering shit.
They just do like a deluxe edition or a collector's edition.
Exactly.
And put all the perks in there.
Rockstar did it perfectly.
Just pay a little bit more.
The best game is $65. We're going to release 3 DLCs. 1, 2, and 3. If you want to purchase them, they're like their own little games. And then once the game gets low enough, you know what we're going to do? Do a Game of the Year edition and put all the games and then sell it again for full price, which is fine because then the game includes everything, and if you buy the base game that didn't have the DLC, it'd be $30. That was okay, but it's just getting out of hand.
Shit you got with Luna in a suitcase. That motherfucker needed a little.
But even with the special edition, I even think the regular that was not even like the special edition. The Lunar one was just that's how the game came.
They had one of them motherfuckers was
they said you're gonna take this little map like cloth of the map one we have. You're gonna take this limited edition CD.
Hey, Fallout is doing something cool.
Why was that Earthbound box so big, man?
They got the little Pip-Boy thing that you can.
You can't buy Pip-Boys anymore.
I know
they're not making anymore. You have to fucking print them with 3D printers, basically.
So what are they doing for Fallout then?
They had this Pip-Boy that you can get, but
and it was fully functional as well.
Why can't you get it anymore?
Something because they were limited edition.
Oh.
They only made so many. I mean, it's not like they can't make more. They won't make
Hey,
more.
that's cool, though. I like little stuff like that. Like, if you feel committed to... I'm okay with people... You know, if they want to show the support, let's say we love Tree Saver regardless. Let's say we buy a special edition package and it gives, hey man, we appreciate you supporting our game. We're gonna give you this limited edition cool ass shit, and you will never be able. No one else will be able to get this again. Because we just want to show you appreciation. As long as it's not, yeah, that'd be cool. As long as it's not the focal point of the game where you're just trying to get as many people to buy this little stuff. No, that's not cool. I mean, that used to be about that kind of special edition kind of stuff.
It used to be about delivering a good experience and delivering a good game, and having just really the product sells itself. You don't need to do anything to hype it. It's like, and this is different, right? But this is like when Jay-Z was running Def Jam, right? And he sort of turned it into an R&B label. The big guys there were like Neo and Rihanna and stuff. That was the stuff that was selling. But LL Cool J was still over there as a rapper. You know, and the southern rappers were doing okay, like Jeezy and whatnot, and I think even Ghostface Killah was doing okay. But LL Cool J, you know, this guy's like, at the time he was like 40-something years old, whatever, right? He complained that Jay-Z was bad for the company or whatever. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't market them, so that's why his records didn't sell. Here's the thing, though. You're LL Cool J. First of all, you already have an installed fan base. All you got to do is drop your record. People should buy it. They know who you are already. You shouldn't need to market. So it's like, if the product is quality, like, remember, like, Beyonce dropped an album, surprise album, Drake dropped it, and people just responded to it with no marketing whatsoever. It was just there. Here, it's available. You can buy it. Boom. And people just snatched it up because they sort of knew, or they had their expectations of what it was going to be. You know what I'm saying? So you don't need to take pre-orders for shit. If you have a quality product and you build a track record of releasing a quality product. Like, Nintendo doesn't need to show you anything about Zelda. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they do shit like they do, was that Legend of Zelda Heroes, that little fucking 3DS game's terrible. But, you know what I'm saying? Yes, but if they bring I'm talking the big Zelda. You know what I'm saying? Like the Skyward Swords, the Twilight Princesses, the Ocarina of Time, the Link to the Past, like any of this stuff, if they just drop it, here you go. No previews, nothing. You know what you're gonna get. Let me go check this game.
That'd be crazy if the game did drop like that, though.
Oh, they'll never do it because they're all about marketing and shit like that, and they want to make sure that they're actually going to sell it. But if you know that your product is that good, you know that you have that track record, you can do shit like that, and it will sell anyway. You don't need any gimmicks. You don't need any tricks. You don't need to do anything with the pre-order or none of that bullshit.
We reference this to the drug trade, and this always sounds horrible when you said it, but if you got two crack dealers, one up the street, one down the street, one tries to cut his product too much, and it gives you less of a high and stuff, but you got that one guy, he always sells the crack from the same price. He doesn't alter his prices because he knows he got really good quality stuff. He never undercuts his stuff. It's always potent and it always does what it needs to do. You might go and think, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and just try to get this cheaper version and be happy, and then you're not happy. Then you just end up spending the money on the product that just is superior and that you always know is going to be consistent. The other guy doesn't have to alter or change his prices because you know that his product that he's providing is superior than the others and it's always going to sell, no matter what happens. I know that's a terrible reference. It's the same thing in the video game industry. That's why people that do Fallout, people who do Last of Us with you know Drake's Uncharted Fortune series, or the Uncharted series. I always say Uncharted Fortune. All these other companies that produce these games, like Pokemon, Nintendo, they know their shit is going to sell, so they don't need to worry about that. They're gonna sell it anyway.
Game Freak is the developer of Pokemon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nintendo obviously owns the IP, but Game Freak, I guess, is the studio. But yeah.
When you have good product, like Xavier said, you have nothing to fear because it's going to sell.
Yeah, all you gotta do is put it out. That's it.
It's like my guides. I put my guides out and they boom, they blow up. They're like, oh, this is that good Debo stuff. I'm like, I know. That was a shameless plug. You guys need to go watch my guides on YouTube. But I mean, realistically, that's how it is. But people always want to take the easy way out. That's why the funny thing is we joke about the other streamers who just do really crude, lowbrow humor. That's like the quick pick-me-up kind of thing. But for the long term, people forget about those peoples in Uberson and all the people who actually add to the community on a regular basis. They usually always stay around for a lot longer times. The same thing applies to anything, but people just got to get a little bit more aware of what they purchase or what they subject themselves to, because a lot of shit is not, there's no substance to anything anymore for a lot of things, and you got to be very careful what you allow your mind or your money to be spent on or used for. I don't know, that's just how I feel. Street Fighter fucking up. Capcom didn't need to do what they needed to do. And, in all honesty, that's why the beta's messed up, because they were so... Here's what probably happened at Capcom. When can we get this game out? When's our quarterly report going to be in? Oh, maybe by the end of August. You know what? Let's push this beta out, get some pre-orders up. That'll boost our sales up. We'll get a couple, get some money to make good on the quarterly report. And they try to push it out, and it actually went to shit. Instead of taking its time and not trying to sell a beta and trying to put it out there. And this is what happens. So now, all the people who spent their money in pre-order, they can't even play the game that they and you know what? Serves them right, because they shouldn't be buying this shit, because it doesn't make any sense. We were talking about this before, so I don't know. Capcom just needs to chill out. Otherwise, they're going to start fucking up like Ubisoft and Konami, and you all know how they've been doing. Pretty terrible.
Ubisoft ain't going nowhere, bro.
Pretty much. I find this hilarious. I'm looking at the comments. This sucks. A friend of mine just bought a PS4 just for this beta. That's hilarious.
Why? No, that's dumb. Your friend's dumb.
Oh,
it's
man.
a multi-platform game, but I do support the PS4 choice. But
yeah,
still,
but I mean, to buy a PlayStation 4 just for Street Fighter 5 is stupid. It's not that good. I can see if you were. Well, nah, you're not that big.
It's not exclusive.
The only people I could see that need to buy Street Fighter 4, buy a PS4 and buy that immediately if you're like a pro player and you have to get in early to start understanding the mechanics. Yeah. You already got the PS4. You already got that kind of stuff. And odds are, most of the guys on the Capcom Pro Tour, they probably already have plenty of access time with the game already.
He should be copping that motherfucker all the shit that's coming out. Like, be looking out for Horizon and shit. Like, that motherfucker looks incredible. I'll cop it for that, or fucking, what's that shit? Yarny? What's it called? Unraveled? Yeah.
Oh, Unraveled. That game's gonna be fun.
Next topics.
I still like that guy's passion and how nervous he was. That's what really sold me.
Nervous for what?
It's okay. The guy who showed that little Yarny game and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Guess he didn't think people would receive it well, but I like cute shit like that, though.
Anyways, Square Enix, the kings of milking that cow. Woo! They need to have a cow and just label it like Square, and then Jay just shows some of the CEO just milking the cow, because Square Enix announces Dragon Quest 10 and 9, or I'm sorry, 10 and 9, or no, 11 on Nintendo NX, 3DS, and Sony PS4. I'm kind of shocked because it's coming out on a Nintendo system, but this was more of an Enix game. I don't know if that still has any ground. But then again, these are the newer age games coming around. No, 10 and 11 have already been out for a while, right?
11 is the newest one.
Right.
10 is already out for, let's see, what does it say? Let's see, 11 actually is the new, like, that month. Did you see the little, like, you followed the link, you see the little, I guess, reveal video of how...
Yeah.
Just how it sort of looks. I don't know, man. I might have to play that game. Just the crazy thing is, Dragon Quest X. It says a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. Made its debut on Wii in 2012. Came to Android, 3DS, Wii U, and Windows PC.
It said massively multiplayer online.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's Dragon Quest MMO. I didn't know about that.
I didn't know about that either.
Dragon Quest X. Motherfucker, everybody's playing Final Fantasy 14. Nobody's playing Dragon Quest X.
So apparently it must have went good though.
Just go kill the slimes. It says so what Square said, Square was like, they didn't like it. They said a representative from Square had this to say about the NX version. It's under consideration, but we don't have further information to share at the moment. They're going to do it, they just don't want their plans revealed so early. That's all it is. But this was really about the fact that we know at least a couple of the games that are going to be on the next Nintendo system. One of them happens to be Dragon Quest XI, and then Dragon Quest X, the MMO. It's a little video. I think the reveal, they said, comes about an hour in, and they shows like a little bit of sort of gameplay. Not really gameplay, but just sort of running through and shit. But it looked kind of good, man. I feel like I probably should have paid more, but that was the thing. The Dragon Quest series was Eastern, you know what I mean? It didn't come Western. What was the first Dragon Quest we got that was in English?
It was a long time. It was more of an RPG that was more well established with Enix and the Japanese base down in Japan. Square Enix had before Square Enix. Square had enough sense to say, let's drop it out here and see. If they would have dropped Dragon Quest out, it could have did just as well as Final Fantasy. It could have blew up in America, but
I played was the one for PS2,
but
was it 3?
They seemed like they weren't. It seemed like they weren't confident in the American market. Like, oh, this is not going to do well. So what's the point, right? You know.
Well, you know
But
how Japanese, in terms of developers, they did not think much of us. They did not think much of the West and our sensibilities and the type of things that we found interesting. They still to this day probably think that we like to play the musclehead heroes and stuff like that, and we don't like these little. 'Cause, they make all their heroes very slender and shit like that.
yeah, this is actually a Dragon Quest X MMORPG. I'm actually quite shocked right now. I did not know this game came out.
I didn't either. I didn't know they would make it an MMO. Huh?
I'm surprised, but
let's all go play it. It's on the PC. Let's download Dragon Quest X.
I don't think it's in English.
Oh fuck, that's
There's
messed
an
up,
English
man.
patch, nigga. Don't worry about that.
I don't want the patch. Nah, I'm cool.
Dragon Quest trailer. I don't know.
That doesn't shock me. So it actually probably is pretty popular in Japan.
I would imagine so. Yeah. I'm actually looking at right now.
It's probably pretty popular in Japan, but just obviously not so much. I think this one might be open world. The world looks, it's maybe a little too tough to see in terms of, but it looks absolutely gorgeous so far.
It does.
It looks like it is on the PC, and I don't think July 31st. This is going to be a while, but I think we're going to get an English patch.
Oh, it's going to be next year. Oh, you're talking about the 10.
Yeah, it can now be played in North America, but I don't think it has any English patches or anything like that. One step closer to a localized version. It's still in Japanese.
The real question is it going to be free to play or
Square Enix, I think it's going to be a solid MMORPG. In all honesty, I think it's going to be a game that does
Dragon
well.
Warrior 1 was on the NES. It's interesting.
Yeah, but they didn't continue to keep releasing them and stuff like that. But then again, I guess you could argue with the whole Final Fantasy thing, how we really didn't get the true 2 or 3, and how they basically gave us 5 and 6.
Enix was their main competitor. Like they were the only ones who.
But Square put a lot of games out in America. It was Final Fantasy, the Chrono Triggers, the original Final Fantasy, and they put out a lot of product. Like Enix didn't put out a lot of product in America as compared to Square Enix.
According to this, the first 4 Dragon Quests were released for the Nintendo in Japan and North America. Let's see, first 2 were released in Japan on NES and ported. All 4 games been remade, blah blah blah. First released in Japan, North America as Dragon Warrior in August '89. So it came like 3 years later. We got Dragon Warrior 1 3 years after it came out in Japan. Then we got Dragon Warrior 2. Or was it says Dragon Quest 2, blah, 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 was released in Japan in '87 and in North America.
Yeah, Star Ocean they did a good job with the Star Ocean stuff, but then they realized how the market was. Like, especially like with the, I know it was real popular with Star Ocean on PlayStations and stuff. I really enjoyed those set of games and stuff. Huh. Well,
Star Ocean is amazing.
I think regardless of whether or not it's going to be big in America, well, you know what? If Square Enix does it right and they bundle it with Final Fantasy XIV, like you just pay $20, $25 a month and you get both games or whatever, I think a lot of people from Final Fantasy might give it an attempt or try. I think the game's going to be successful, at least in Japan. It's not going to go anywhere because they love their Dragon Quest. I do know they love it in Japan. I think it can
Star Ocean was tried.
branch out here and stuff like that, but just in general, I think the game. Like I said, I haven't heard of the game just tonight. That was the first time. I will play it and try it once they get an English version because it's Dragon Quest and it seems like it'd be pretty cool. But like, I don't have a draw to the actual game. To me, it would just be like another MMORPG because I don't have any kind of. The thing I don't like about Dragon Age is all the damn jellies. That just makes me just.
I'd play the
terrible.
standalone game, but I wouldn't play
like 11. When I looked at 11, 11 looked really good. It looks really solid. But like, I agree with you guys. I don't think I'd mess with the MMORPG. I have nothing that really makes me want to be like, I gotta play this. I mean, there's Tree of Savior and a bunch of other stuff I gotta play. You know.
Gotta finally play that Blade of Soul that's coming out.
I don't think Dragon Quest is a bad game. I think they make really good games. I think you could tell they put a lot of effort into it and they made multiple versions of the game or multiple sequels to the game, so it's successful. It's not a question whether or not the game is good or not. I just don't know if it appeals to the Western audience.
Got Akira Toriyama's artwork. So
yeah, the guy who did Dragon Ball Z, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got look at the game, and a lot of the characters will remind you of characters from Chrono Trigger and whatnot, and characters from DBZ, and I wonder if that DBZ MMO is still going on. There was a Dragon Ball Z MMO like in Korea or something where you can play like Majin characters and shit like that.
We don't talk about the Dragon Ball Z. That thing's Satan. The only good Dragon Ball Z
I think it
game
was actually decent, though.
was on when they made it like an RPG turn-based attack kind of thing. The one they had on Super Nintendo. And then also the one that was on the Quake engine when you ran around shooting Kamehameha waves against everybody.
That one went up to, I think it went to the Frieza Saga. I know what you're talking about. That it went all the way
translated
up to the Frieza
patches.
Saga, and that's as far as it got. And then at the end, if you did something right, you could get Goku to go Super Saiyan.
Yep.
I played that RPG too, man. I was really into Dragon Ball Z, so I was just looking for Dragon Ball Z games to play when I first like discovered emulators and shit like that.
And side note, if you ought to know, the new Dragon Ball Z series started and people hate it. Told you.
Yeah, it's all it is. It's just, well, right now all it's doing is telling. It's basically filler, or like it's telling the backstory, and it's playing up to the movie, the Battle of the Gods movie, but that movie's already come out and happened, so you already know what's gonna happen.
They're just milking it. They're just milking
there's
Dragon
no
Ball
reason
Z.
to watch
Goku
the series.
is
No
in the
new
bed.
information.
He's on life support. He's dying, and they're just trying to. Hey, can you sign this one release, Goku, so we can just make one more go before you go? Then they need to stop. But
I'm like, hey man, we need you to draw or write a 26 episode arc that leads up to the Dragon of the Gods movie that we already put out there. And we want you to release it after the movie.
Great milking. But, Dragon Quest X, MMORPG, I don't know. Don't know if I have time to play it, but I think it has potential. And I know 11 will probably end up doing pretty well. Because that's going to also provide a good RPG for the Wii. I know the Wii users are going to definitely pick that up because, if they have an RPG kind of thing.
11 comes to the West. That's the only other thing. Like, it's one thing for it to come to the Nintendo system. It's another thing for it to come West.
Yeah, and that's a good sign maybe that also Nintendo is willing to work with Square again, which might end up making some good developments with them. And who knows, say this maybe your Super Mario RPG will get made. Not Paper Mario before anybody says
always,
it.
Like, just straight up, man, always a shout out to Super Mario RPG, man.
Hey,
always hoping for a potential remake of that game.
Paper Mario is still a good RPG, though.
It's a good RPG, but it's not what it used to. It's different.
It's just another RPG with Mario in it.
It's different. It's not the same. There's just a difference.
I feel like Super Mario RPG could have been another series for Square. You know what I mean? Nintendo just could have licensed it, let Square do their thing with it, and it could have just been another RPG series for them. And they just could have ran that shit into the ground. Super Mario RPG 26. Yoshi's Adventure or something. It's just some crazy shit.
Hey, now you fucking with Yoshi's Island and Super Mario World 2. Don't you do that. Don't you mess with Yoshi's Island.
They could always come up with original characters. Like, you have to think that, like, Mallow and fucking Geno and shit like that were characters that Square made up. You know what I mean? Or maybe they came to that together. Because you haven't seen... you have to think that at least Square partially owns those characters. Because you haven't seen Nintendo use that in anything. Like, there's
no Geno, no Mallow, none of that kind of stuff.
And Smash Brothers. Like, there's no trophies of them or anything as far as I know.
You would always hope you get Booster as a character. Wasn't Booster that guy who was crazy as hell? He went to the wedding, they ate the cake, and then after that, they stole his wife, and he's like, well, I guess the wedding's over, and he just went home. Like, yeah, that Booster? Booster wasn't quite right.
He had that tower, man. He was
weird. Booster was rich. Yeah, but he even had his own theme music, like it's like do 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 do. He had to chase him up. That brings back so much memories. That game was so good.
Fucking barrels, man.
They even had a hidden boss from Final Fantasy that was tough if you didn't prepare for him. That's the stuff I like. They used to do stuff like that. Yeah, but like it was trivialized. If you got the princess in like the red shell armor, and so she would never die, and you can just basically slap him to death. It kind of made the whole fight just face roll. But I mean, yeah, that's just how it goes. Not much to talk about with this one.
It sort of resolved itself, but it's still interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that, of course, Zero Tool banned from Heroes Tournament after exploit emerges, but then they put him back in.
Did you see the bug, though?
What was the bug?
So, okay, here's how Zero Tool's ult works. You press it, and it allows you to he basically does, like, bunny hops. Basically, it allows him to stick to you. He does bonus damage, and he does bunny hops as he chases a person down.
Okay.
The ult, you have to do something where you would click on one target and then quickly change directions, and basically it would make him able to dash ridiculous distances. Like, I don't know if he could dash like similar to how Illidan does. You know, Illidan has his ult where he.
Well, his ult is global, where it just
he's on. It's supposed to be that way.
I hate.
His kit is built around that. You know what I mean? But Zeratul, with the way he works, the fact that he's in stealth as well. I think his ult makes him invisible also. And just he can do that. So the ability to travel that kind of a distance to pick somebody off, you don't even know that he's coming because he's stealth, and it's ridiculous. But they fixed it quickly, which is good on them. You know,
well, they had to
disabled him for one tournament,
right?
And then later they said that he would be available for all because it was hot fixed and fix it. Goes to show you, man, it takes Riot forever to fix bugs. There's bugs that still exist that they haven't fixed.
And Blizzard got in there and fixed it. Well, I mean, but see, the problem is, the reason why they fixed it because it's their game that's making money and they don't want nothing to. They need all the good publicity they can get.
Yeah.
If this was Diablo 2, this was Diablo 3, we just basically patched it. So what happened to our set? Well, you're gonna have to wait until the next patch before we actually fix this issue. Have a nice day. And you sitting there for 3 or 4 months.
Game mode with its story out right
and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if League has that.
That's a special event. That's all.
But just
interesting though.
But like
I was going to get yelled at for jumping ahead.
No, I played Diablo, and that's not a microtransaction game, and they're not making as much money as Heroes. And like I said, they had an issue with the Witch Doctor Zunimasa set where the fetishes weren't producing correctly. They're conflicting with the ones from the skill and your passive. And they actually allowed that to be in the game for about 3 to 4 months before they fixed it. We'll say about 3 months.
Yes, it was.
You know, so my big thing is, the funny thing is, it goes to show you, if it's Hearthstone or any microtransaction game, they're on it. But when it comes to like StarCraft, when it comes to Diablo or anything that doesn't have those microtransactions, you're going to have to wait a very long time for them to fix it, which is pretty hilarious. That's all I wanted to say. Alright, what's the next topic? Carnival's pretty far everybody else drinks right now, unless they mess it up. Five Nights from Freddy's creator responds to critics with inspirational message. What's his inspirational?
I really like this guy. Well, no, you see, I love the way that this dude responded to people, sort of giving him shit about his game. So, you know, obviously you're successful, so you get like a lot of people tweet at the guy and stuff, and they feel like he didn't do anything. So I'm gonna read the whole thing, so bear with me, right? But I really thought that this was interesting. Now I don't play Five Nights at Freddy. I've never spent an ounce of money on those games, but I've seen people play them and have fun. They seemed like really weird games to me. It's like it's like, I want to make a game about Chuck E. Cheese.
I will say this real quick before you say anything.
The game is about animatronics that can kill you.
Here's my thing.
No, I'm just saying it's supposed to be scary.
If he just realizes his game, it's like a one-hit wonder, right? Or you realize if you have like, okay, if you make one game and it was a very straightforward song, it's like somebody who made the song like, you know, Gangnam Style, or, you know, like Rebecca Black song, and then, you know, you make this one song.
He's not a one-hit wonder.
Exactly. Well, I know in Korea, but I'm just, okay, let me put it to you this way. The game, I think, is shit. But if it makes people happy, that's fine. But then if he's trying to start doing some artistic integrity shit, like I'm on the level of, let's say, the creator of Metroid or Castlevania.
No.
I know, I'm just saying, I know before you read, I'm just saying hypothetically, if it's one of those where he gets butthurt about that, like if I made Five Nights at Freddy, it'd be like, so Debo, how you feel? Man, I just made this little half-ass game and sold millions, I'm cool. Deuces, that's all I would say. I wouldn't try to act like I'm some, you know, person that's bigger than me, but I'm just saying,
basically, here's he felt some type of way, you know. But here's what he says. He says, you know, hi. First of all, I want to thank the community in general for a huge outpouring of support through emails and the forums. I know a lot are concerned about me or think I'm stressed out. It's true, I'm stressed a little, but it's okay because the result was good. Worked very hard this year, almost nonstop, to produce good games for this series, even though there may be some debate to how, quote, good the games are. I did my best to provide some good scares and a good story. All I can do is judge from the Steam reviews that I've been mostly successful, so I'm very happy about that. It's true that there's been a lot of hate toward me lately on the forums, YouTube, etc. I'll be honest, it's difficult. Difficult when people seem to dislike you only because you found success with something. He says, I think some people have this idea that I spend my days swimming in gold coins like Scrooge McDuck, cranking out games with no effort, then laughing all the way to the bank. The reality is quite different, and I think people who hate on me for being successful are misguided. Said, last year I was working at Dollar General. I worked as a cashier. I had 3 bosses who were all still in high school. Before that, I worked at Target in the backroom freezer. He says, I haven't had a successful life. Now that God's blessed me with some success, doing my best to be responsible with it. I don't party on weekends. I don't get drunk or sip martinis. I spend my evenings playing Mega Man 3, Buster Only with my kids, and I try to be good, or do good with what's been given to me. The reason I'm telling you all this is to make sure you know that I'm human. I have a lot of flaws, made a lot of mistakes. Games aren't perfect. They never will be. Something more important I want to convey to you is you should never listen to people who criticize success simply because of success. Being good at something is something to strive for, not something to demonize. Criticism of my games are fine, and a lot of times the criticism is valid. But there are a lot of people out there who will hate anything that becomes popular. This is true. Just because it's popular, and hate anyone who becomes successful just because they're successful. Haters gonna hate,
people
as
hate
they
on
say.
PewDiePie because he's successful.
PewDiePie's a dick. But I want you to start focusing on someone else's future. Well, success is the wrong way to live. People who make videos bashing other people are like people who run into a public square and scream into a pillow. They'll get attention, but they won't change anything. If you strive to be like them, then you'll spend your life screaming into a pillow as well, and your life won't mean anything. The best emails I get are from people who've chosen to pursue game development because the games I've made are people who decided to do computer science or learn programming. Who will be the next game designer? Who will make the next game for Mark? I don't know what the fuck that means. Make sure that it's you. People who hate success will never be successful. Focus on your success and your story. People always ask me what college I recommend or what programs I recommend. My answer is to just go forward, practice, just get to college, study hard, be awesome at what you do. Make sure that you're next year's big success story. Don't fall into the pit of people who've given up on making something of themselves, and make sure you make everything out of yourself. Since I'm getting too old for this, and when I retire someday, I'm going to want to sit down at the computer and play your games, read your stories, and watch your videos. Don't fall in with people who've already given up on themselves. You are tomorrow's next big thing. And he ends with a smiley face.
Well, it's inspirational. It's great. But for me, I don't even think he needed to put that explanation out. You're a grown-ass man. You got kids, and you made so much money. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. But he also said something to help other people, and that's the thing. He could have said nothing. He could have done nothing. Even if all of it they are words, it's a way to give back.
But I will say, and that's true, but I don't want people to go out to game development thinking they can make a Five Nights at Freddy that's that kind of game and think that's the new age and shit like that. Like, Mom's just saying this, how many Kickstarters do we have? How many mindless, senseless games do we have? Goat Simulator? What's next? Goat Simulator? Like, okay, he made his game. It was successful. It entertained people and made fun. I'm not blaming him for everything. I understand. I'm not blaming him, and I'm glad that he's inspired some people, right? But all I can say is I can understand why people really don't care for his kind of game. Not necessarily hating on him, just saying.
It's fine to not like the game.
But I mean, there's nothing about his character. Congratulations, he was successful.
The guy didn't put any effort in or anything like that.
Well, I think there's a big effort there from what he put into his game than what other developers, like let's say, who made Quake or who made Doom did. He is nowhere near that level. Because those guys...
Those games came out years ago, and I mean, this is his start, and that, like, Doom...
And that's his start. I know, but it was made with a small collective amount of people, and they blood, sweat, and tears. They worked on Wolfenstein, a lot of different stuff.
How hard he worked on Five Nights at Freddy's.
But the Five Nights at Freddy can be beaten, like, so fast and so easily, and it's not that much investment. But my whole point is... that there's a difference between him.
We call
well, yeah. Okay, let me put it to you better in this situation, or this regard. It is not the level of an ID. It's not the level of a Quake game. It's not the level of any of those big hardcore, like multi-billion-dollar ones that started off from nothing, where those guys developed.
No one's comparing it to that. But here's the thing: people are quick to criticize this guy and then still go pre-order Street Fighter V.
But yeah, and that's true. And that's true. But but that's the problem. Is the whole that's what how I feel about
we shit on this
if
guy, we give passes to the fucking developers.
Oh well, I don't give no passes. May other people give passes, but this is my whole point.
But that's my thing.
With my thing with the Five Nights at Freddy's, this is just going to perpetuate more games like this and making quick in-buck games like this. Not saying maybe he didn't have the intent of making a quick in-buck game, right? But here's my whole point.
Is making people think that they can make
hey, believe me, and I agree, those need to go and burn up too. But like I'm saying is, I'm tired of seeing this Goat Simulator. I'm sick of seeing, man-child versus fetus baby. Like, just really out the wall, ridiculous game.
Stupid. This might make a stupid ass game.
But it's the easier way out, and that's how the gaming industry gets worse and worse, and people get focused on making quick, fast to pick up games rather than trying to develop something and make something good and formal and present it and make a higher quality product. And that's another problem. But everybody's attitude is, if it doesn't affect you, then it's not a big deal. You're demeaning and fucking up the culture. You're ruining shit, and you're making everything horrible. I'm not saying this guy is a terrible person. I'm glad he's successful. I'm glad he's able to do well for his family. But the guys who do like Braid or Super Meat Boy or those guys, and that level of quality and detail is nowhere near what this individual did. Was it amazing that he did by himself? Yes. Am I taking away?
He simply made a different type of game. As far as we know, Super Meat Boy was easier to make than Five Nights at Freddy's.
I guarantee you it's not, and I'll bet money on that.
We have no way of proving how much work.
But exactly. Okay, Sonfire said it the perfect way. I don't hate him. I just hate the people who buys his game, and that articulates correctly.
But why do you hate the people that buy his game? What have they done to you?
Because it just perpetuates, and that's the problem. This is. But here's my problem. We talk about the pre-orders. We talk about things that are going through. We talk about the betas for the Street Fighter. The only thing that that good men have to do, or good people have to do, or let evil prevail, is simply do nothing. Now, I'm not saying. My whole point is, when you look up like people who made the Farm Bills, people who made the Flappy Bird, people who made the Candy Crush, like, this is the reason why our major games that we know and love are changing or played this way. But you know what? I can't blame all him. I'm just saying I don't blame him at all. I'm just saying that his game. I hope no one thinks to compare his game to the level of some other games that are really mastered. And like I said, some people might try to do that because they might be crazy. You know how the youngsters are. All I'm just saying is, in general, is that I'm not hating on the man. He's cool, but his game perpetuates the shit of which is just killing the gaming industry. I don't think it was his intent to kill the game industry. I think it is gonna make it worse. I think it is gonna make it worse.
He's not doing early access
because
I don't know if he
what's okay. So then we're cool with Goat Simulator.
Did he make Goat Simulator?
I'm just saying, Goat Simulator is another game, and we were all talking about how retarded that shit is and demeaning was. Would you like to play this wonderful game called Child of Light that has all this RPG and artwork and sensibility and cool stuff? Nah, man, but can you give me that $10 on that Goat Simulator? And then you wonder why.
He's mad that again. Like what is it? Nah, what is it? What's that game?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing like saying, like, in the music industry, well, just because Young Thug makes that kind of music, we need to respect him and understand that he's making people get up and dance and have a good time. And you know for damn well sure in music, everybody's like, he's trash, he's ruining the industry, and people can be like, yeah, he's ruining the industry. But this Five Nights with Freddy's guy, people are going to be like, oh, well, he has the right to make this game, and this is fantastic, and he's helping out the gaming industry. Well, if you're going to say that, okay, you know what? Justin Bieber, he's great for the music industry, and he's revolutionizing stuff. And people, but I'm just saying as an example, if it was in the music industry, in other industries.
That's what we're doing right now. It's very easy to tear people down.
But it doesn't, and that's true, but his game like that and Goat Simulator do not help the gaming community. Just like Young Thug and Justin Bieber. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But this is about his words.
But
this is about his words.
Okay, if we're talking about if we're talking about his
to make another Five Nights
and I said that,
go
but
to college, do you tell your story?
I know, and I said that specifically.
Do.
I don't mind him, and I don't mind the words that he said. That was the first thing I said. I said he's fine. But that game perpetuates
he's not what's wrong with the industry,
shit.
Though.
I think it's the people who are buying the games, because at the end of the day, they don't have to buy his product, and if the consumer didn't buy his product, the game would have never been big. But I think that's just
works.
I just think that's oh no, believe me, you could,
works, right?
Flappy Bird worked, and that made thousands of dollars before the guy felt guilty about it, and then he took it off the market.
But here's the thing, though. Does Batman work? The problem is we're taking shots at these.
But we take shots at everybody, though, equally. We even take shots at lower level, too.
Some time to grow. I mean, like, Doom wasn't perfect.
But it was revolutionary for the time it came out, and no one put that level of detail. And the follow-up was Quake, which they took a whole year and something to work upon, which was unheard of in the gaming industry, which transformed and revolutionized the whole culture and spawned the FPS. If you want to talk about games that revolutionized shit, the guy who made Minecraft, that guy, that's on the level of development and doing what he's talking about. That's the level of quality. When somebody creates a game that changes and revolutionizes the gaming industry like how Minecraft did, I will give him his props and what props is due. I don't play Minecraft. The open world sandbox revolutionary, like that created a whole nother genre. The sandbox, it's just all that, and that's what it is. And he crafted that game, and he put a lot of effort into it. And you're gonna tell me that Five Nights at Freddy put more effort into than he did?
No, I didn't say that. Like you're talking about the effort. I'm not comparing the effort.
Well, all I'm saying is that when you bring in a whole new genre that spawns other games because you started it first, like the whole FPS genre and stuff like that, he created a genre.
Though there were games like SimCity, there were RTS games,
but no one did it to the level in which he did it, and like how big is it? It's a multi-billion-dollar game and crazy stuff. Well, I mean, it's inside the game, no matter how you look at it. All I'm just trying to say is, games like Five Nights at Freddy's and all this other speed stuff, you could probably put the Five Nights at Freddy's on. Well, you could technically put a lot of games on the phones now. I'm just saying when people see stuff, I don't think it's the worst game ever made. Like I said, nothing against the guy. I'm glad he's encouraging people. I'm glad he's successful, and he's fun.
Here's the crazy thing, Debo, and I'm not calling you out because you do get on people, but honestly, you have been rougher on this dude than I've ever heard you be on even.
Because you wanna know why I'm more rougher on this guy? Because there's nothing in depth about the game. There's nothing. Yes, I sat there and played the game. I played that shit with my niece, and I played it for a half day, and I sat there, and the game is really nothing. And I even get on Telltale Games. Remember when I was talking about Telltale Games? But people are. That is the quality of games now. It's like that's what people want to do.
It's a little bullshit $8 game.
It's basically what Sunfire said. Don't hate him. I don't hate him. I agree with that. Hate people that buy it, which I do, because the shitty game becomes profitable and reflect how companies and the gamers do the games. Exactly.
Who's to say that the game is shitty, though? You know what I mean? Just because you don't like it, or even that you think that it's not
the same people were saying the same argument about, what about pre-orders? Pre-orders wasn't that bad.
No.
Or betas and pre-orders, but people were saying that stuff wasn't bad. But look how it comes now. But
the quality of a game, and we're talking about a weather, because first of all, whether a game is good or bad realistically is subjective.
That's true, and that goes for anything.
But exactly. But let's say the game is bad, again, it serves a simple purpose. It is what it is.
Exactly.
It's not revolution. Nobody's saying that this game is revolutionary.
I'm not saying the game is revolutionary. All I'm just simply is just making a general statement. With the gaming industry and basically how things are coming out and how games are being developed, it is much easier for people to focus on, instead of developing a beginning, middle, and an end, and developing... I know. I'm just trying to make a general statement. The reason with Five Nights at Freddy's and I wish games like this need to go away, and this is going to sound horrible, the development cycle from what creators used to do into what they do now, it's just atrocious compared to how much effort they put into it. Now, I'm not saying this man didn't put effort into this game. However, for the product in which he's offering and for what he's putting out there, and it maybe, I'll be honest, it's not him to blame. I don't blame him. He just made a game, put it out there. I blame the people who all purchased this shit.
Yo, Debo, I understand.
My whole point is just,
the point that people are putting a lot of bullshit out there.
But my whole point is, when you see all these games coming out that are like basically it's easier just to make a half-ass game and make millions off of it. People would rather focus on making a Flappy Bird or making a Candy Crush or making whatever rinky-dink game they can capitalize and make millions on, instead of doing something that you're actually caring for society for, or you care for the gaming industry, or crafting art that you enjoy and play. I kind of feel like
it's definitely
that's what the focus on. That's my whole point.
Little silly game that's like it's not a phone
precisely
game,
here's
what I'll put to you. Five Nights at Freddy's is no worse than Hearthstone.
Oh, and what do we always say about Hearthstone? I'm the first one to tell you that Hearthstone shit. Well, I give shit to everybody equally.
I'm telling you, you've been rougher on this dude.
But I'm always roughed on Hearthstone and everybody. But the reason why I don't like, well, okay, even if I want to be rough on the dude, the reason why is this: I'm sick of these fucking shitty ass developers coming along, every bumping jumping on the freight train, doing these like rinky-dink crowdfunding source games. Now he didn't do that, but the development, but people don't do that shit. The Flappy Bird got so guilty about it that he had to take down the game. It was dishonorable because it was shit. He got depressed. That's what the main guy said. Because I'm sick of these games.
Debo, you wouldn't, like Xavier's pointed out, you never hopped on.
I don't care. Okay, you know what? So I am gonna be cruel. This is what I have to say about Five Nights at Freddy. You made a game. You got lucky. You blew up. You made your money. That's fine. I'm glad you're encouraging the kids. Nigga, you made Flappy Bird. That's like Young Thug is sitting out telling the kids out in the middle of everybody else saying, "Hey, you kids, you know what? I just want to tell you to chase your dreams, and you too can be a young thug of yourself." Right? But the hypocritical thing is too, in music, if this was music, no. Look. If this was music, y'all be like, nah, Debo, this Young Thug is bullshit and it's terrible and it's ruining the industry. And there might be some people that believe with Young Thug and that he's good for the community. But you guys would probably be very disgusted and be like, nah, I don't give a fuck what you have to say. I don't give a fuck. Young Thug ain't shit. The hell with everybody else. Well, this is where I'm putting my foot down. Fuck Five Nights at Freddy's. That broke-ass Chuck E. Cheese animatronics got on the nuts. And you know who really perpetuated it? The people on YouTube who are making those fake-ass reactions, reacting to a fake-ass game by PewDiePie and these motherfuckers. It's in the same category as fucking Goat Simulator. And the reason my shit gets fucked up because these companies would rather put more effort in trying to replicate a Five Nights at Freddy because the cost is low and fucking up all the new games that I like, and I can't even play Street Fighter 5 without pre-ordering some bullshit, or them trying to put out some half-ass shit. You even got the motherfuckers from Fallout making a Fallout Shelter game on an app who would have never did the shit before because they see the motherfucking at Five Nights at Freddy's making a broke-ass Chuck E. Cheese rendered piece of shit. Fuck that game. I love the guy. His family is great. His wife probably makes a great casserole. I'm sure he has great kids, and I'm glad he's educating people out there. But your game perpetuates the bullshit of the gaming industry, and it's a broke-ass, animatronic, cheesy-ass, Chuck E. Cheese breakdown shit that the only thing is missing is the two black mamas fighting over their party. No, this is my party. I scheduled for the day and shit. Fuck Five Nights at Freddy's. Fuck that game. You perpetuate the bullshit. Oh, I'm so mad right now. Of the gaming industry. I'm sick of seeing that shit. Put in a little bit of effort. Show the nigga waking up at his house, maybe getting dressed for work, and he's taking a train over to. You just wake up and he's at work. You work from 12 o'clock at night to 6 in the morning, turning a light on and off, and you get scared when you see the motherfucking animatronic guy coming. It's nothing to that game. It is shit. It is other shit. Just fuck that game. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it.
Hey, Debo.
Fuck that game, and fuck Goat Simulator 2, and fuck Goat Simulator RPG, MMORPG. Fuck that game. I'm so angry right now. I'm so angry right now.
You can't reach your goals. I'm living through.
Oh, it's so bad. Why couldn't he just say, "Hey man, I got lucky. Go program. Who knows, you might get lucky too."
By the way,
Hey, but you know what? I agree with you that people need to innovate more, man. That it needs to be, you know.
I agree with him too.
What's next? Resident Evil? We're gonna make a Resident Evil Five Nights at Freddy's and shit with little scares and shit on your phone app, and y'all niggas will be like, "I can't believe they made this shit. This is like a broke man's Five Man's Freddy, but Resident Evil." And Capcom's sitting there counting $5 million. Man, I can't believe that app made $5 million.
They know, right? They can't do it at this point because the game's already made. You know what I mean?
And that's fine.
Like, no one can try to.
You can't.
Copy that.
I'm not gonna hate him. I think he might be a handsome man too. I like him. He seems like a cool guy. He might.
Seen the guy.
I
just like his message and the way that he responded to.
Oh yeah.
Sort of the hate that he felt like he was getting.
I wouldn't, but why you would even respond? It's like you hit lotto and then you complain, "Oh, my friends hate on me because I'm rich." Who cares? You're rich now.
But see, he could have been more like, he could have made it worse. It could have been worse than what he said, but instead he chose to sort of say something positive.
And that's
he
true.
gave a little background about, you know, what he came from and whatnot. I have no idea how that game was made and what he did on, like in a sense, maybe he did get lucky. You're absolutely right. The game is not very in depth or anything like that, but at the same time, as I said, man,
I don't blame him. I blame the people that bought that shit and perpetuated that shit.
It's not even those people. It's the industry. The industry facilitated.
Well, the developers could basically develop a little bit more conscious of what they're putting out here. What if somebody made like a deal with the devil, right? And the devil said, "The next game you make will be the greatest game of history." And this lazy motherfucker goes in and basically it's called Ball with the Cup, where you have to simulate catching a ball with the cup. And that shit blows up. It's got a professional gaming sport league and all this other crazy shit. And then somebody in the crowd, it's going to be a little girl. "Why are y'all watching the Ball with the Cup when you can just watch somebody do it in real life?" And then everybody's going to stop and be like, "Why the fuck did I buy Ball with the Cup 2010 or 2015? Then EA's going to pick it up and release that shit every year. And then they're going to give you booster packs to change how your cup looks. And you're going to pay $3.99 per cup list."
It's going to be the Ball in the Cup Championship.
Oh my gosh.
In the world, they're going to be calling me the faker of Ball in the Cup because I'm so skilled at this shit. You know, I've been practicing this whole time. I'm the best at Ball in the Cup. Can't none of y'all fuck with me. Then I'm going to release this Ball in the Cup YouTube video, teach you motherfuckers how to catch the ball in the cup, even if you got a different color cup. And the ball looks like your cup. You know what I'm saying?
What did Conan, you see what Conan just said? He's throwing ball in. You know? Like I said, I think what a lot of kids and programmers are going to do, they're going to look at Five Nights at Freddy's and the Goat Simulator, and they're just going to be like, "Let me take the easy way out and just to develop this." None of them are developing no original games anymore.
They'll look at it like, this game is terrible.
I hope so.
I looked at Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, I watched Jovan play, and it's funny to watch Jovan play. She gets scared, and it's funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, she legitimately gets scared, and it's funny. It's fucking hilarious to watch her play that shit. But
look at Outlast. Outlast was a game that was pretty affordable price, that was developed, and that was solid and good. Outlast was good.
Same time though, it's like they had their little run and now they went away.
Oh, you know what? Real quick side note. You know who else I want to say fuck you to? Fuck everybody on the fucking on the oh my gosh, on Kickstarter making all these rinky-dink half-ass Cards of Humanity wannabe fucking card games. We don't need no more card games. I'm sick of seeing the Cub games. All these damn card games. Why you need all these card games up there? I don't want to see another card game that's looks like a broke down humanity mixed in with fucking Candyland. I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to play this shit with my kids. What kind of shit is this? And you want me to send you $50 to get your rinky dink ass card game?
And you know what's fucked up about it is you see this coming from companies that are established who have had success. Like, there's going to be a Pillars of Eternity card game. I know, and you know that a lot of this shit, it's going to be...
You're kidding, right? Okay, seriously, time out. You're serious. They're making a Pillars of... Oh, motherfucker.
Yeah, based off of the... Because there's a card game inside the game, right? If you remember.
Oh, yeah. No, they're not going to do that.
No, they're making a tabletop game.
No.
It's going to be a tabletop game. It's not going to be digital.
No.
They're making a tabletop card game.
They're making these card games. They got to stop. Oh, that's so terrible.
Because that's what they do, bro. As dude said, it's easier to see what works and copy that, right? As opposed to innovate and do something really, really interesting. That is one of the things. Again, I always bring up Nintendo because, like them or love them, man, you gotta respect them because they're. You say, well, what does Nintendo innovate with? They released the same shit, Mario, Metro.
But it's a high-level quality, full-fledged game I can play to start, finish, and to put a lot of time to her.
They also do different shit with the Marios. Like, you can't say, like, Super Mario Sunshine is different from Super Mario.
I'll agree with you on that, but what if they make a formula for bad game saviors? They already started doing with the mobile apps. There's like a new game every week and a different type of... They cranking them out like little babies.
I mean, that is true, but I mean, that's why we need companies like Nintendo, and that's why we need to stop the pre-orders, and that's why we need to stop buying games. I mean, yeah,
you know what?
They probably shouldn't have bought Five Nights at Freddy's.
I just had a very little bit of clarity right now. I shouldn't have said stuff about the Friday Night at Freddy. I should have just basically... I should have just let it go. That was not worth me...
I mean, if that's how you... Because I've snapped on some shit, too, you know what I'm saying? That's how you feel about the man's game. That's how
something just with Five Nights at Freddy. You know what? I'm going to make a card game that's for the feminists that basically talk about don't get caught by, like, you know, molester Charlie. And it's a whole card game about passing everything around so that you don't get the guy who's going to try to get you. You have to do stuff like, what cards do you want to take before the card game stop? Well, I'm going to take Can of Mace. I'm also going to take the skill to basically lecture him on conversation, how to appropriately treat women, and then also a billy club, and it's a whole card game that evolves around getting home safely without being actually molested by a man or something. I would make millions on that. Because that's how stupid card games are now. You know, one guy had a card game they were making, it was about rape involving anime characters, and they had to it got up to $50,000 and they had to take it down.
Was it in Japan?
Actually, it was an American guy who made it.
Oh, well, that's because he was American. If it was in Japan...
No, Javon, I mean, you're fine. I just fuck Friday Night. If you're going to play Friday Night at Freddy's bootleg that shit, don't give that man no more money.
Should never get that nigga. Should never get this nigga.
If you want a scary game, look at Outlast, man. Outlast did a good job. The base game was what, like $20, $30. The DLC was $10 to $15. It had a good amount of content. It had stealth. It had the creepy atmosphere with you being chased by all these insane dudes. It was a well-produced game that conveyed the same thing. Look at Amnesia. Amnesia was another good game and stuff like that. That was the same kind of spooky, kind of creepy kind of game, and it did very well. Those games are gems. And they didn't have high production. Parasite Eve was scary when that game first came out. That didn't have a huge production crew back then.
Play like Resident Evil 2, something like that. And you gotta play all of this shit with the lights off, man. And some headphones if you can. Really set the mood with some of these games, man. And
I'm just saying, I look at Outlast. Okay, I look at Five Nights at Freddy's and I give that look like, okay, all you kids doing is flipping on some lights. I think half these kids are just scared for no reason. They're acting. You know,
simple game, very basic in terms of what the goal is and things like that.
You know what made the game look really trivial to me? When I was watching this Korean guy, and he was clicking on everything with like perfect micromanagement, like his lights levels were perfect, and he was like click, 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 and he was perfect at the game. I was like, this shit ain't even scary. It's just managing a light. Just make sure you don't mess up your light too much. I'm sorry. We spent too much time on me going off. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go off like this.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, just say me and stop it! Why are you speaking stuff into existence? If I see this awesome game so quickly, I'm going to come get you! Oh, I need to stop before I have a heart attack.
Cause you hate it so much, my nigga.
I don't care. They would... Oh, my gosh. Oh, that
They
game.
fighting somebody on
Nights.
the Epoch, man. Why they fighting the boss on the time machine shit?
Yeah, that's how it goes, man. Blizzard to announce now a new WoW expansion at Gamescom. Do we have to cover that?
Yeah, man. Let's snap on this shit.
We already know it's bad. People still play this shit. It's like a battered. It's like an abusive relationship. Just stop. We don't want to say batter housewife because it's not unisex. We want to say batter housewife or husband because men can be beaten too.
Make 5 nights at Debo's.
I'm not making 5 nights at Debo's.
Oh shit, man. Ronda Rousey knocked somebody out in 34 seconds. Go for her.
Yeah, I just saw that shit. That shit was wild.
You can't beat up Mike Tyson, though. Anyway. Yeah, man, I personally believe that the WoW expansion is gonna suck. I'm interested in hearing the announcement though, because I want to know what it is. What path are they gonna take? Are we going back to the future? You know, with Marty McFly and shit, and Doc Brown. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we're gonna leave Draenor behind. What's gonna happen when we get back to the real world and shit, and see what's going on since we've been gone? Oh wait, Orgrimmar has burned to the ground again. Oh, Vol'jin's dead. Really?
Do you think they could mess up even more, or do you think they still can? They're at the rock bottom.
People who didn't leave, but I guess the trolls didn't go, so they left a bunch of people back to defend the cities.
Women in you're talking about World of Warcraft when they went back in time, right?
In terms of the story, like there were people still in time, but this next expansion is going to be where Sylvanas is finally the end boss and shit. This is going to kill off all the Horde leaders, but I don't know who's going to lead the Forsaken if she dies.
Yeah, that's true.
They're going to replace her with some other undead, because the thing about it is all her people follow her. Just. I don't want to say blindly, but they are really like I'd say.
I think it's something she really controls them, doesn't she?
No, they just really fucking believe in the Banshee Queen and that she has their best interest at heart. Because her goal is for them to not serve anybody ever again, because they were slaves before, basically, to the Lich King. So she just wants her people to be sovereign, but in a sense, they're gonna take her character and make her like she's crazy, like she wants to rule the world, like she wants to kill all living people. That's basically where her mind is right now. She wants to kill her. She hates the living.
I wish they could just end WoW, move on to the Warcraft 4 RTS, and then have World of Warcraft 2 on a new engine and all storyline. I know. It would make sense,
make
right?
You buy units for fucking $5 and shit. I hate that.
Sometimes you gotta. They could end the storyline and just have like little expansions, little side stories come up where people just do stuff for the rating and stuff. They can stop the storyline
in the game. Like here, this is the final expansion. This is the final patch for World of Warcraft. Enjoy the rest of the game. If you want to play everything from vanilla up to this point, you can, but the servers are going to close 5 years from now. We'll maintain them up until then, but this is the day. We have a set date in mind of where we're going to close these servers and we're going to stop supporting the game. Boom. Okay, so now we'd like to announce Warcraft 4, and then boom. Okay, now we'd like to announce the Warcraft 4 expansion, and then the next expansion, and then we'd like to announce World of Warcraft 2 that takes place after Warcraft. Like, some shit like that, just if they wanted to do it. I've just mapped out 15, 20 years of their motherfucking future right there for them. But instead, the Blizzard future is actually going to look more like this. Sorry guys, we're killing off Diablo. There will be no more Diablo games. Diablo 3 for PC is no longer going to be supported. We're shutting down the servers. There is no offline mode. You guys are fucked. Sorry about that.
Download our new Hearthstone expansion, our new Hearthstone app. And we're officially changing our name to Blizzard Mobile. BM.
It's right, exactly.
Because they're bad mannering everybody.
Blizzard Mobile. The next StarCraft game is going to be mobile RTS. There's going to be microtransactions. Basically, StarCraft 4 is going to be, what's that game called? What's that shit? Clash of Clans. That's going to be StarCraft 4.
Oh, no, don't say that.
That's pretty much how you're going to play StarCraft 4. That's going to be the future of Blizzard. Overwatch is going to be Overwatch. Hearthstone's going to be Hearthstone. They're going to find some sort. There's going to be an Overwatch companion app for your phone. I'm not sure what it's going to do.
Overwatch is going to have crates just like CSGO or the hats like TF2. Crates are big business, man. They're going to have something like that, I guarantee you.
So what else do they have? What have I missed? Oh, Heroes of the Storm. Heroes of the Storm Is going to get a mobile app as well. It's going to be the actual game, and you can play it on the phone at the same time as you play on the PC. And they're going to take the microtransactions a step further. You're going to be able to buy in-game power-ups. You can buy level ups in-game for $10 if you want to quickly get to level 10, but it's only for the current game that you are playing. It's going to legitimately be pay to win.
How do you feel about the new WoW expansion, Random?
I don't give a fuck.
Is that the voice of the young new school gamer? Is that what y'all say? I don't give a fuck.
Oh man, but that's where Blizzard is going, man. That's the direction. We talk about innovation and shit, and we look at these guys. They gave us these really great intellectual properties. They had something in Titan, and they just.
But I've never seen a company, Savius, who turns their back on the intellectual properties. Even Rockstar, fucking Naughty Dog, all those guys actually keep up with it. They might have side games and side projects. That's like Square Enix. They have side games and side projects and mobile games we hate, but at least they still do the main stuff we want to see from them, right?
We need a campaign like #Free Blizzard, man. But I guess all the good Blizzard devs have already escaped from the company, so they're out from underneath the thumb of Activision.
A lot of them talk a lot of shit when they leave too. Have you noticed that? They love talking shit like when they know
they open up. They know that because you can't do anything under Activision, and all of this shit is about turning a profit. It's not Blizzard that really feels that way, but unfortunately, we will not get good Blizzard games. I think we should just be like, you know what, fuck it. Blizzard needs to dip off and just give us something else, man. Create something better than Warcraft. I know they got it in them. Somebody over there has it in them. Something better than Warcraft, and just leave Activision, leave Blizzard, go start another fucking startup company and start making the games that you actually want to make. You don't need to be backed by $1 billion company to be a successful development studio. Many of these very small studios have proven that. You don't need to run the Kickstarter either, man. Just put up some money together, make a fucking game as a labor of love, make a great game, start a new IP, and just run from there. That's one of the good things, and I always bring up Nintendo. Nintendo stands by their IP. They stand by their fucking IP. Mario is Mario. Legend of Zelda is Legend of Zelda. You know what I'm saying? Metroid, they stand by that shit. F-Zero, Pokemon, everything that they fucking own, they stand by it loyally. And they have not yet started to bastardize their shit. As far as I know, there are no Nintendo mobile apps. Like there's no official Nintendo like Mario apps or anything that's like sort of linked to any other games or anything that gives you any sort of an advantage or anything of that fucking nature. This is not yet. I don't think there ever will be, man. I mean, they're looking at it probably, but we all know Nintendo is wary of following trends, and they are always late.
And when they do a trend that's late, like now with the microtransactions for the characters, even then for the Smash Brothers, they did it very slowly. It's been so long they waited.
Free to play either.
No, I don't think they will either.
DLC, I think any fucking mobile game that they make that will feature like Nintendo characters, and we talked about that story a while back where they were saying that. We spoke about this already, Krez. There's very little that we don't know, you know what I mean, in terms of gaming, and especially when it involves Nintendo. So we already know about that shit. We read different articles where we already
Krez is trying to scare people with them links. Nintendo on mobile? No, not them too. Trying to scare people.
About it, the game will be a pay app. You'll have to pay for it.
What they should just do is just give you a Nintendo World account, and you buy these games, and when you buy them one time digitally, you can play them on your phone, whatever. They should do something like that. Just fucking streamline it. I'm just waiting for somebody to do Google Games or some shit where you can play your games from anywhere.
Think about it. Here's the crazy shit about me, right? I don't think Nintendo needs to do this, and I said this back when we talked about it in the first place, Maybe if they do officially Nintendo will bring like your old school games. Like let's say they put Super Mario 3 and like Super Mario RPG like on the Play Store or on the App Store. That would be cool because we know that those are complete games and you don't need anything like that to make the game run. I'll be very disappointed in them if they ever go towards like let's say they put a Pokemon game on the phone and then they put fucking microtransactions in it, but I don't think that that's something.
There's already a Pokemon mobile game with microtransactions. Oh, that's Satan. That's evil.
Yeah, but they're not official. Like those aren't Nintendo. That's somebody that Nintendo needs to sue.
I hope so.
And then you should probably tweet that person. You should probably tweet Nintendo with that fucking game and shit. You know what I mean? And let them know like, hey, there's somebody using your Pokemon shit to make money. It's not you guys, so you might want to sue these guys into fucking poverty.
Oh, man. Nintendo. It's on 3DS. Oh, that's so bad.
What game is that? What Pokemon has a microtransaction? What can you do?
That actually would be a good topic to talk about. Oh my god, like Pokemon, I like all these different game codes again.
You're gonna do like buy a Master Ball?
Savius, don't. What I tell you about, you need to stop, Savius. You need to stop, Savius.
I'm in trouble catching that.
Savius, I don't want to see the next Pokemon game being played by kids. Why, Mom? Can I use your credit card so I can buy a Master Ball again? All right, you've been good this week. You buy 2. Oh yay!
What is it called? I've never heard of a Pokemon Candy Crush game. It's very weird.
I can see
Nintendo
Nintendo doing
why
that.
I don't think that they need to put anything on smartphones because they already have a mobile platform to put games to. It's called the 3DS. It's something that it's been a little standby and they've had great mobile games. You know,
That's very
they've had
scary.
great mobile games this entire time. Pokemon Shuffle, I've heard of that game.
That's almost as bad as like Pokemon Snap. I'm supposed to ride around this little Safari taking pictures. No one wants to see this fucking game based off the guy who was in one episode who used to take pictures of Pokemon. Why don't you catch a Pokemon? And yet I still bought that game and played the shit out of it, but still.
But you did.
That game was very harsh too. That is not even an A-class ranked picture of Charizard. That is a C-. Actually, it's a D. You fail. And then, like I said, that game was really harsh. Battle pets or whatever, yeah. And then the last topic is WoW community manager announces exit from Blizzard. But I mean, that's normal though, man. With everybody leaving.
Wait, I remember Pokemon. Nah, it's not Pokemon. I was thinking of Pokemon Puzzle League. But why did they do this? This is a terrible game. What's wrong with you, Nintendo?
I printed my photos at Blockbuster. You could do that, couldn't they? Oh, that's so crazy.
The world is
you
ending, man. It's the world is ending.
So, do they have any people who have been with WoW since the beginning still in the community team or the development team that is still working on that game, or not really? Probably. I don't think anybody. I think they changed everybody over 10 years, right? Wasn't Chris Metzen something involved with it, or the guy who does that epic voice with the beard? Wasn't he there from the start? Like, it's Chris Metzen, right?
Yeah, Metzen's been
I like who he is and what how he's pretty like the cool guy of Blizzard, but then when he messes up things with lore, it drives me crazy. Like when that one kid schooled him in the red shirt.
Yeah. Well, Metzen's too busy making money, man, and fucking.
Yeah, he looks like he's eating well, having cocaine and hooker parties. Like I could actually, like he'd be a cool person to chill with you. So we're gonna go to Blizzard headquarters. Why the fuck we going there? We're going back to my place. And we got some chicks there and some Molly, and you just go and party all weekend.
Right, we're gonna get fucked up.
I thought, but I mean, but do you know anybody say this from besides like him or somebody who's been there from the get go? There probably is somebody there who's disgruntled and angry as shit. Just sitting there.
Well, the top guys, because they're really eating well and everything, they're gonna be around for a while. Like I don't. If Metzen leaves, you sort of know that
it's going to hell.
It's pretty much done at that point. But that worries me. I'm actually a little disappointed in Nintendo, man, with that Pokemon Shuffle shit. I don't follow the 3DS because I see great games over there like Bravely Default and what is it? The fuck is the other?
Hey, it's Cookamandum. Hey, how you doing, man?
Metzen actually had a lot to do with Overwatch as well, because he was closely involved with Titan. So obviously, yeah.
Remnants of Titan.
But what was that shit, man? What was I thinking of, dude? That But yeah, I was disappointed. I'm disappointed in Nintendo for doing that shit, man. I really don't think that they needed to do anything like that, you know. I know they want to get into the smartphone game, but I think that's just gonna hurt them, man. That's a desperate grab for revenue, and I don't know. I know they don't give a fuck about my respect, but you know, if one of the last companies that I have respect for just sort of default themselves and they start whoring out their fucking IP for little fucking $2 transactions and shit, that's just bullshit. You know what I mean?
Hey, can that man? Shout out to him. He says he enjoys the stimulating debates we have on our stream. I know. Especially you missed the whole segment of us going in on finance and Freddy. We're going to have to highlight. That was so terrible. Please, I didn't mean to go in like that. That was so stupid of me.
Oh man, hey, that was great, man, because it's
Chuck E. Cheese bullshit.
It shows the fucking passion, man.
Cesspool bullshit.
We honest over here, man, and we passionate over here, and that's what it is, bro. And you don't get that type of honesty in other places.
I remember I ranted one time about some game.
I don't know, man. You always say crazy shit.
You all be sitting there with family members at Thanksgiving saying some cool shit. He'll come up, hey, man, remember that last week I was patting that chick's toes in my mouth? And I'm like, whoa, random, stop, just stop. He's like, what? I had her toes in my mouth. I told you to sit the other day. That was the same night you told me that if your girl called me to tell him that you were with me the whole night and nothing happened. Just random's that kind of guy. Yeah, you were with that big booty white chick.
I don't know. That kind of, it didn't. I wouldn't say it blew my mind, but I didn't know that Nintendo had already done something in terms of free to play.
Everybody's jumping on that bandwagon. The older Nintendo guys probably don't care about it. It's probably like the younger guys just trying to, hey, find us a way to make us some money and not make us negative.
I know the president recently died, but I mean, the old guard is getting old. You know, go on and put their sons in place, and their sons are not very.
Sons are been weaned. They come. That's what happens when it's hard for like somebody who's born into success to really develop themselves and push themselves to become successful. Unless it's like with family business where they just basically train you not to be an idiot to pass it on.
Like Pokemon themed cafes and shit like that. I understand about that.
That's fine, but there's a difference between that and a free-to-play game when you can just simply make another quality Pokemon game and then just push it to the next level. Keep it pushing. It can still be the same thing.
Oh, that's Japan, and that's the kind of shit that Japan does. It's like how Hello Kitty, was
actually in Japan. You actually give you they give you a card, and then if you do so many cafe visits, you get to a level where you can go behind closed places where people can't see, and you would, the certain cafe girl. Oh, shout out to Basket Case. Whoa. That's how I was a couple moments ago when I was talking about Five Nights at Freddy. I was a complete Basket Case. Fuck that game. Anyway. Anything else you guys like to bring up before we bring this to an end? That was some good topics.
Let's see. Where's the guy at? Oh, so that guy's still streaming. He's at like 9, but the one stream disappeared.
The girl? The girl's done streaming?
Just went offline. But Jenny the Squirrel is here. Let's check out and see what Jenny the Squirrel is wearing tonight.
Is she just as bad too? Is she at that level?
Jenny the Squirrel she's Korean, and she just, as far as I know, she doesn't give a fuck. Like I said, one day, I know she was dancing on stream. Like right now, she's got those thigh-high stockings on again.
Link her stream in my chat, please. How can you see her thigh-high size if she's supposed to be waist up?
Because that's where her camera is, and it's sort of angled, in a way. And she's got like this little teddy bear, like between her crotch, but she's like her. So now she's moved the camera up a little bit, but like her legs are like split and shit like that.
Link that in stream. I'm gonna make a video montage that's gonna talk about how you shouldn't like shame people just for how they dress, and it's gonna be like very sarcastic and just have all these links to these examples.
But yeah, I mean Sonic and Mario. There's a lot more than just Pokemon from Nintendo. You know what I mean? Which is great and everything. But yeah, I don't know. Nintendo's like my last bastion of hope for the major developers and shit in terms of people having sense and just having some sort of integrity, and just I don't like the whole free to play thing. It really bothers the fuck out of me, man. That's Jenny the Squirrel. She's very weird.
Oh, that's the guy from Tank Spot. He actually works with the World of Warcraft people now. Why would he do that? He should have known better. Oh, poor guy.
You talking about Lore?
Lore? Is that
Yeah,
Lore?
that's Lore. Yeah, Lore's community manager over there.
Wow, God bless his heart. He got real dedication. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll be back next week, either Friday or Saturday, or just Tuesday to piss off random with the different days because he freaks out. Hope you guys
Gonna be on a Tuesday.
you guys have a good night, and hopefully
Me,
I won't I won't rage out like I do next week. I'm sorry about that. They need to stop making shit games like that based on
Somebody's gonna believe it. Like, look, I don't know. Are you watching this shit right now, Debo?
No, link in the chat.
Yeah, I already did.
I didn't see it. Oh, there it is. Let me take a look. Dude, she's hella popular too. No! Really? No!
This is what she does every
No!
Like somebody's following me, and I got no privacy.
Her voice is annoying as fuck too.
No. Hey, thank you for the follow, Dan. Whoever I'm sorry, I missed your name. And how does this not get in trouble? How does this not get in trouble?
I don't know. Yeah, that's Twitch, man.
How the fuck does this not?
This never have any hope in life at this point. I still fuck with Nintendo though, man. It's just I don't know. It's like they just need to leave Mario and Zelda and shit like that alone. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna follow her too. I'm gonna make a video about this and put it on my YouTube channel, and then get it taken down and to start up another big debate or discussion. That's so terrible. That's so cancerous. Oh well, I guess female streamers. I tell other female streamers, if you want to be taken seriously, you need to deal with these chicks that are like making your life live in hell. Because we'll handle the dudes, but y'all gotta get them to stop being crazy like this.
She can't do anything. She is simply this is what she's paying her way through college. It's basically this right here is it's weird because you almost have more respect for strippers than you do for some